Everyone, welcome aboard. How's it going, everyone? Can you all hear me? Let's see the chat over here. Put a 1 if you can hear me in the chat below. I think we have everything set, going, and ready to go. Let's get this there we go. There we are. Now we can see everything here. Hello, everyone. Yep, it's time for the show. We are on board. We are ready to go. How's it going, everyone? It is your host, founder, and conductor on this wild ride, Demetrius Villa. And we're here. All right, Ricardo can hear me. Hello, Ricardo. Hello, Calrail fan. Yeah, this song is great. It's another 80s song. I think we all have like 80s theme songs on this one. Yeah, Break My Stride. Yeah, some people on TikTok like this one. I don't personally have a TikTok, but I mean I follow along with the memes, I guess. Hello, Axar. Hello, David. Hello, Marvin. This dude looks like Brown Sam Biden. Oh, man. It's just dark in this room. I don't know. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Yeah. There we go. Let's get some light in here. All right. Hello, Renell Reed. All right. We're going to see if I can try to get the Discord chat going. Problem is I don't have oh, dear. I don't have the roles over here in order to get people moved on to into the live calls. But I'll see if I can try to get that done, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully I can get that role because there's somebody here in the queue. But anyway, let's get on going to here. Let's get this on because we got a good amount to talk about today. This week a lot has been going on, especially with Amtrak and their new plans. Yeah, we're gonna go over it. We're gonna go over this Connects Us plan. We're gonna go over this map a lot over here, guys. I know everybody's super excited about this. This came out in the last 48 hours or so, but yeah, this is pretty big. These are ambitious plans from Amtrak. Again, as we've seen before in the last several years or last several decades, Amtrak has pushed out these type of plans. Will they actually materialize at this point? We'll see. We'll go through it. We're gonna look at all that. Let's see who else is here. Hello, Rob. Hello, TCVI Spielman. Hello, Zachary. Hello, Steve G. Yeah, 80s music was the best. Berwin, hello. Ask Sarah Vicari. I want to get into Discord. Let me see if I can get the Discord up. Let's see if I can get the invite link over here. Where is the invite link? If anything, look at the invite link in the description. It should be in the description below on the video. Does Amtrak have expansion plan? Yeah, we're going to be going over that. Yeah, this will be another call-in stream if I can get this working. I see there is somebody in the queue. If I can get them moved over, if I can get some... yeah, I need to get some rolls into there. But yeah, let's go over this. But if we can be... if we can get this done in time, we should have a slightly shorter stream this time. We should. I'm going to be a little off today, and since yesterday, since I've been fasting for Good Friday. But I can have LaCroix. We're having limoncello. That's what we're having. All right. Let's get started over here. Hello, Mike Wu. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, this is a good show today. Here we go. All right. So Amtrak dreams big after Biden's infrastructure push. President Biden, sometimes called Amtrak Joe for his train enthusiasm, appears to be living up to the name. The $2 trillion infrastructure plan Biden released this week calls for $80 billion to improve American train service, that's good. $80 billion is a start if it's actually going to go to improving passenger train service. Experts say that it's the biggest commitment to rail travel in more than a generation and will revitalize transportation mode that's long lacked the public investment that road and air travel receive. And that's going to be something we're going to repeat over and over again tonight. Just basically the disbalance between the amount of funding between rail transportation, road transportation, and air, and of course the air lobby. It gets a lot of money. They've held us up for a good while during the coronavirus in order to get $50 billion that they're never going to pay back. Amtrak, the largest passenger rail provider in America, said this week that it plans to upgrade and expand service, including as much as 30 new routes and more trains on 20 existing routes. And we're going to go into that pretty soon. All right, trains will be sped up by Boston and D.C., which is Amtrak's busiest and most profitable route. Amtrak declined to say how much speeds will increase. So you're going to see a lot of this. When they say extended service, it doesn't typically mean, and it's not going to mean that they're going to have high-speed rail in those areas. It's usually going to mean they're going to have an increased amount of frequency. That's really what they're saying. Rail experts say many parts of the U.S. trains run at slow speeds, sometimes less than 50 miles an hour, because investments haven't been made to maintain tracks. In other parts of the country, rail service is woefully non-existent. Several rail experts highlighted difficulties between traveling by rail between Chicago and Houston, two of the 5 largest metros in the United States. And then when you start to get into things like that, between Chicago and Houston, that's around more than, I would say, like 800 miles or so. That's not going to really be something that's going to be realistic that most people will take. You never know, but from the studies and from what we've known, that type of route looks more to be an airline route. Let's see. So will Avalia increase top speed? Not much. Not really. Why can't we go high-speed rail? We discussed that a whole bunch of times in the channel, John. Really, it has to do with the amount of investment that this country puts into passenger rail. Vodka stream win. I don't know, Ruben. That's another thing. Limoncello tastes like Clorox wipes to me. It's all right. My favorite flavor is the coconut flavor, but we're all out of coconut. Let's see. Jim Matthews, CEO of Rail Passenger Alliance, which advocates for rail travel, said that even getting average passenger speeds to 79 miles per hour would be a meaningful improvement. And I think that's really where it comes down to, is having more increased passenger transportation between areas that don't have as much already as it is. But if places that are between 300 and 500 miles, which again we iterate again, that's the sweet spot for high-speed rail. But for passenger rail, for conventional passenger rail service, that also works. To be below 200 miles, that would probably be better. So yeah, and this is the map that everybody keeps talking about, but we're gonna get into that. Also for you guys, new video is talking about Virgin suing Brightline. This is one of the fast news videos, so this was something that was didn't take as much time to edit, and really this week I didn't have that much time to even go into it. I really edited the bulk of it last night and this morning, because Holly this week had to go ahead and get some surgery, so I've been sticking with her to make sure that she's been okay and taking care of her. So she's been doing well. So some guys have asked, how's she doing, and she's doing well. So thank you all for your prayers, and yes, she's recovering very well. But yeah, this is a whole big thing. Really, what it comes down to, if you guys haven't seen this video, it really comes down to speculation of why this is happening. What was the impetus between the split? Did the Virgin company really go ahead and lay down all pertinent financial information before they went and had the deal? Because if the deal was done in bad faith, which most likely seeing what's going on right now, it probably was. It was probably done in bad faith. Again, I can only speculate. I can only say we don't know. This is not for sure. And if nobody in Brightline is really talking about this, and that's better on them. They shouldn't be talking about this, because if they say anything to the public, it could mess up whatever trial they're going to have. But this whole thing is, this isn't good. So this really, I do hope you guys could see the video. But yeah, the 3 things I want to mention, the 3 outcomes that can actually come out of this is, number 1. Virgin, successfully sues Brightline, which probably won't happen. And $250 million, that's a big deal for Brightline, especially now. That's a big deal. Again, Brightline can come back, even if that does happen, but again, that's very, very unlikely. Number 2 is Brightline successfully defends itself and gets this thrown out of court, or says that a judge will go ahead and say, this has no standing. Most likely they'll just throw it out. they're probably not going to even listen to it. Which jurisdiction this falls under? Probably on the federal jurisdiction, since this is an SEC sort of thing. But I mean, I don't know where this would actually go. I'm assuming it will go to a federal court. But apart from that, really the third option, most likely, like I would give the second option about a 30% chance of happening. Okay? And I would give the third option about a 70% chance of happening, and that would be they go into litigation and they settle on an amount. Probably we won't know the amount. That will be kept, confidential. But that's most likely where all of this goes down to. And Virgin knows this. Virgin knows that they can go ahead and get a settlement and keep Brightline, because this would be a costly lawsuit. And unless Brightline is willing to go ahead and go toe-to-toe with it, they can go ahead and it can turn around on Virgin. But the thing is that Brightline most likely won't do that. Again, we don't know. There's three ways it can go out, but I only speculated. Let's look at the comments over here. If you guys are on Facebook, we do have the American Rail Club page, and Ruben has been doing a fantastic job on that. Ruben is just an absolute king with this. So if you guys are on Facebook, whoever's still on Facebook in this age group, I'm not even half the time on Facebook. I mean, I've still let it up. I think it's fine, it's good, but it's mainly meant for the older generation, and that was like really the first place that we started was on Facebook. But if you are, let's see what else is in the comments over here, and then after a little bit, we're gonna go over the Rail Passenger Alliance presentation that happened this week. It was a pretty big webinar. You had 4 big names there, so that's really good. And I do aim to bring all of them by the end of this year, at least for a one-on-one interview. If not a live interview where we can get questions, because I really do want to do that if we can do a live interview. Of course, that will be during the day. Not that any of us now have anything to do during the day thanks to the COOF, but hey, it's the way it is. Let's see in the comments. What is the deal with Virgin? Again, we know what Virgin is doing. They're suing Brightline, trying to get the moolah. Of course, it's all about the money. Where was that meme here? I guess I don't have it here. There we are. Money. That's what it's all about. They're not talking about custody of the children. They want custody of the Benjamins. I mean, the kids could be named Benjamin. I don't know. Yeah, that was a D-bag move by Virgin. I do agree, Axar. Chicago to Cleveland HSR. We'll be talking about a little bit about that. I don't think they're going to be doing high-speed rail, though, if you're talking about Amtrak. Zachary Costello asked what freight railway company will start using electric locomotives. The only one that really did was the Milwaukee Road, and that was on the Upper Rockies. And we're talking about, Montana and that area through there. Really, electric freight doesn't really make sense unless you're in a dense urban area somewhere like, let's say, Japan, because Japan does do electric freight. Again, it only makes sense because most of the country on that side, like let's say, between Tokyo and Osaka, on that side, it's mostly you're going from city to city to city to city. It's very dense urban area. Most of that's not going to really happen here in the United States. So saying the electrification of freight railroads, we're kind of wasting time with that. I mean, look, it's nice to have, but the cost benefits not going to really do it. Yeah, the Pennsylvania Railroad did it too. Yeah, you're right there, David. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, that's the only bad thing about these LaCroix that they make you burp like heck. But hey, for 0 calories and however they make this, whatever naturally essenced with an asterisk next to it means, I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody's always wondered. It's not like you can go ahead and go on YouTube and go find how it's made. From the History Channel or Discovery Channel. I like that show. They don't have one for LaCroix, so we don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Hopefully it's not Dark Lord Sacrifices or something like that, because that would be pretty bad. Very bad. Let's see. Yeah. I can't say it on the stream. I don't want to get in trouble, but yeah, I do agree with you guys about Virgin. Good evening, Mr. Game Utopia. All right. So let's get started on this because this was a very good webinar hosted by the Rail Passenger Alliance. So we had Carlos Aguilar, President and CEO of Texas Central, and an update on the Dallas to Houston corridor. So for those of you guys who are asking about a TCR update, we are going to be going all of that from the man himself. So that's going to be good. Boris Lipkin from the North California Regional Director for the California High-Speed Rail Authority is going to give us an update on that. And of course, I think one of the big ones, and really someone that we should bring on the show, would be Seth Moulton, 6th District of Massachusetts, Democratic representative, on a legislative update on basically the American High-Speed Rail Act. For those of you guys who don't know, Seth Moulton back in December introduced a bill called the American High-Speed Rail Act, which... Again, if you guys know the history, in 1965 we had a high-speed rail act under Lyndon B. Johnson that went basically nowhere, as you can see. It didn't go nowhere. We did have some sort of high-speed rail. I mean, we had the Metroliner and Turbo Train, but those were kind of short-lived. The Metroliner was just never updated, and they just basically scrapped them after a while. The Turbo Train kind of went the way. It was the UAC Turbo Train. It kind of went the way of the Concorde. It was, very complex, very expensive, and nobody really wanted to go ahead and do the parts for it. So, I don't know. It's what it is. Anyway. Okay. So let's keep going on to here. So let's start with Texas. Well, first of all, let's start with Texas. This was just a map, how high-speed lines would work. And again, having these sort of connections between airlines through regional rails, through shared routes, through urban areas. That's really what it's going to come down to. It's really more about connecting to. And again, we started as the High Speed Rail America Club, and we've evolved into the American Rail Club because we understand that there's a connection between having urban lines and having interurbans. Okay, there's a need to have that sort of balance. So update on the Dallas to Houston high-speed rail corridor with Carlos Aguilar, who's the president and CEO of Texas Central. Now this is going to be good, guys. I did get some notes, so we'll look up some notes there because they did have a sort of a Q&A session, kind of between the back and forth of them. But this was pretty good. All right. They don't list cities. Yeah, this was just a map to just show how it would, how it kind of works. It's not really a real map to show what they're doing. All right. And yeah, the thing is, I had to go ahead and record this on my phone. I wasn't at home at the time. Again, I was with Holly in surgery. She was in surgery. I was waiting outside. Not outside, but in the waiting area. So I was basically going ahead and taking screenshots on my phone and putting it here on Google Drive now. Actually, let me see if I can. Can I present it here? You guys can see it. Kind of. All right. Oh, you can see the bulk of it. You can see the bulk of it. All right. There we go. So yeah, tens of millions of dollars spent in the studies. A lot of that came from Japan, from the Japanese Central Railway, as well as they have made some loans from the Bank of Japan. Also, 16 million trips a year already being made. 80% of Texans surveyed said they would consider riding the train. Of course, we already known this for years. Most people in this country, whether you're on the right or on the left, want to be able to have trains. Okay, hold on. You guys may not see these tracking major milestones. Let me see if I can move this over if you guys can be able to see that. There we are. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we can be able to see that a little bit more clearly. Okay. So, December 2017, the draft environmental impact study was released by the FRA. They had the agreement with Amtrak that Amtrak would have, do ticketing with them and, etc. on May 2018. The program manager, I can't see exactly what that is. And I did something wrong. I pressed F5. I'm used to PowerPoint instead. That's what happens when they make you work at big companies. Bechettel, I think that's what it's. I don't know. Anyway, Civil Construction Consortium, WSP, WeBuild. Operating partner would be Renfe, which is the Spanish company, which does the AVE over in. They talked a lot about the Sevilla to Madrid route. Financial advisors would be Citi and MUFG. August 2019, FRA begins rulemaking for safety regulation. They had the installation contractor. They had the stations contractor. The Surface Transportation Board decision that Texas Central is an interstate carrier. Of course, they have been pushing that up, and they're still in the process of, getting through that trial of, saying that they are not a railroad from the from the NIMBYs, but they'll get that through. And then you have the RPA and the ROD issued. All right, so yeah, so this is all good stuff, right? Hope it goes to Austin eventually. That could be a possibility if they can have the Texas Triangle. I do think that, SD. When can construction on Texas Central Railway start? They're just waiting on that final approval, and then they can start. What they said, according to Carlos, he said within 80 months. So by the end of a full Biden administration, okay. And again, a lot of people have said that Biden's not going to last. We're talking about 8 years, okay? So let's say 8 years, or be below 8 years. Since 80 months is not, it's about what 7 years. A project of regional and national benefits. Of course, we know this. We've seen the studies from everywhere else around the globe about how high-speed rail can increase the economic development in urban areas and even in between areas. This has been, something that has happened. Texas private investors developing the transformational Texas high-speed train, geopolitical importance with a world-class transportation solution. They're going to do, expecting $83.7 billion in total real cumulative revenue. I don't quite remember about how long that's supposed to be, what timeline said they're going to get there, because of course it's not going to be a year, but I guess, over time, maybe over, 40 years or so, that will probably make sense. Thousands of construction and permanent jobs. Okay, yeah, Bechtel, that's the program manager. Okay, I think you guys can see this over here. So actually, let me go ahead and move this over a little bit so you guys can see this. So this is, so somebody asked last stream on the calls that we had on Discord about what is really my gripe with the California high-speed rail plan, and what is really the big mistake. The big mistake is they haven't really done this, right? Texas, even though California, yes, they are building, and they can say that they're ahead physically of building the actual infrastructure, you would say. The problem is Texas already has the partners. They already have, they say, who's going to be on first, who's going to be on second, who's going to be doing what. Okay, and that's the important thing. Once you have a team together, you got to build the Avengers of high-speed rail. Okay, whatever meme you want to call it, but because they have this done, you see, look, systems installation partner responsible for installing catenary safety signal and communication systems. Technology partner responsible for trains catenary safety signal and communication systems. Okay, so you have MEC, Kiewit, Mitsubishi, Toshiba, NEC, Hitachi, JR Central, all Japanese companies. Okay. They're going to be in charge of all of that. Oh, by the way, another thing. This was something that he also, Carlos did mention, that they are going to do the same thing that they do on the Japanese Tokaido Shinkansen and most Shinkansen systems, where every night they have a crew of people go ahead and check the lines and go ahead and run maintenance, nightly. That's a lot of jobs. Okay, a lot of good union jobs. Okay, so for the unions out there you go. That's something. So that's something that can realistically be a very good benefit for Texas and along the middle lines, because now you have people, in places like in between in the Central Valley, where if they're saying they're not working, if a lot of people have lost their jobs because of the coronavirus, maybe if they have some contracting experience, they can be able to work on these lines. Civil contractor building everything from the ground up to the train rail, including viaduct and berm foundations as we build. I believe that's a Spanish company. We know Renfe and Adif are going to be the operating powers. They're going to be running the trains, maintaining the systems, signals, other equipment, oversee staff and service at train stations. Okay, station contractors and financial advisors. From everything that we've seen here, and you're gonna see that's gonna be missing from the California presentation, because they're gonna go ahead and say, well, we're building. yeah, I know you guys are building, but you don't have this put together, okay? Because once Texas Central gets everything set and everything done, they're just gonna get building, and they're not gonna stop. Okay, they're not gonna stop to go ahead and do procurement of who's gonna do this equipment, or who's going to build, and who's gonna be the contractor from Merced and this area or whatnot. That's really the problem. Okay. Imogen Moon, JR Central is coordinating the 4 tech partners and 2 installers. Yeah, and this is the point. You have teams and consortiums working together in order to make this happen. That's really what we need in this country, and that's why Brightline got built. They had a consortium of people, okay, from Siemens to I forget who the other companies. It's a Brazilian company that's very well known in Florida for building, but that's the type of thing we're talking about, And again, investment in civil infrastructure, a lot of concrete. They're saying nearly 3 times as much has been used at the Hoover Dam. And I know it doesn't look that much in the Hoover Dam, but if you guys have done simple physics, then the Hoover Dam gets thicker and thicker towards the bottom. Okay, I'm not trying to be lewd. Okay, so somebody's gonna go ahead and loot the Hoover Dam. I mean they've looted the freaking Suez Canal thing, so I mean I wouldn't doubt that. But yeah, okay, you have a lot more concrete towards the bottom because water pressure at the bottom is a lot more, right? So that's what you're gonna have. At the Hoover Dam, but because it's Texas Central and because they're building a railway, you're just gonna have a lot of concrete just lined up over there. Speaking of guys, of lining up material, I 3D printed a train, and I'm probably gonna do a giveaway. I'm gonna probably print another train while we're on this live stream. So yeah, here's an E7 Shinkansen that I printed out. So that's pretty cool. So this is what it's supposed to look like. I mean, this is not a print. This is actual die-cast metal. This actually bought in Japan. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And this is the plastic version. So I'll probably be giving away one of those, maybe during the stream or whatnot. I don't know. Let's see, TCR 2026. Probably, possibly. Florida Dave, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Great channel, patiently waiting for Brightline to come to Tampa. Yeah, I don't know if you have seen the video that we have done on Tampa, but it looks like where they're going to have the station location there. Station location. Where they're going to have it, that's going to be a very good area. If they could be able to get the streetcar, the Tampa streetcar connected to that will be a cinch. That would be great. But this is pretty good. So, actually, let me go ahead. I'm going to print another train. And maybe we'll go ahead and do... we'll probably do something. Maybe we can get like one lucky caller. We'll go ahead and get the train or whatnot. Or maybe I'll just give trains out. I don't know. It's not that much plastic. It's like 12 grams of plastic here. An E7 and East New York City lightning stripes. Yeah, we can do that. You can... Yeah, Odebrecht. Yeah, that's what it is. Or how do you pronounce it in Portuguese? Odebrecht, I guess. I don't know. There you are. Creating a new industry in Texas. More than 1,500 direct jobs. Look at that. Jobs. There we go. Well, hopefully it will be jobs for our generation too, here we go. The trades meme is real, guys. So if you're told to get into the trades, that's what you should be doing. For those of you guys who are thinking of going into college, just don't. Just work with your hands and go do a trade. I probably wish I did that. Half the stuff that I learned, you can learn online anyway for free at this point. Not even. College is more of just a big fraternity to go ahead and connect with other people and network with other people. Which, if you're not doing that in college, you're wasting your time. If you're not networking with other people, that's really the good thing about college, at least in my experience and anecdotally, was that we got the club started here. Okay, the club started because me and a couple of friends, we got together at FIU and made the High Speed Rail America Club, advocated for Brightline, which at the time was all aboard Florida, and kept going, and this has become a whole movement now, a national and international movement from all the people that we have. So yeah, this is good. So hopefully we'll get jobs over here. So $42K a year, $50K a year for a welder, and $80K a year for a construction manager. Where's our I think I had a meme here. So hopefully it doesn't turn out to be like this. I had this meme ready. Getting a job in the 1970s. I'd like a job, please. He's got a post. Give this man a job. Is that a tie? You're clearly management material. Getting a job today. I've got a master's degree and speak 3 languages. We're looking for someone with 10 years experience. But this is an entry-level job. Please leave before I call security. Who else? Exactly. Who else identifies with that? That's what the job market has kind of become, which is sad. I mean, hopefully with this, we need blue-collar work. We need manufacturing back in this country. Manufacturing made the middle class, okay? The middle class in this country was not created because of people doing Excel sheets and PowerPoints in a cubicle, or, now at this point back at home, okay? The middle class was created by blue-collar manufacturing jobs. That's what we need. That's what we need back in this country. And that's the thing with high-speed rail and rail in general. It goes. It's not just the political and it's not just the social level, but the economical level. And throughout generations, I mean, we're weaving something here that is going to bring everybody together. Whatever we have left at this point to bring together in this country, but it'll happen. Look, whether the country falls apart at some point or not, it's going to get built, right? Even afterwards, okay? If there's some sort of reconstruction and there's, balkanization of the United States, then different other, states or whatever will go ahead and build their own rails. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Point is, it's going to happen at some point, right? Hopefully within our generation, most likely, but we'll see. Yes, I agree. We do need manufacturing back here. Do you have a link to that TCR recording? That will be on the RPA website. I believe I did link it. So yeah, look at this. Fewer cars, less emissions, fully electric regenerative braking. Okay, which the Japanese have already done there. When the Shinkansen slows down, it puts electricity back into the electric grid. High speed, low impact. And they did talk about, this will impact the electrical grid of Texas and it will fail again. Most likely not. Most likely not. It uses less energy than most of the cars there anyway, if we're talking about BTUs. So look at that. 86 million cars removed from I-45, 12,500 cars per day. Again, we all know this. This is a no-brainer that high-speed rail is greener. Energy efficient. Less than 1% of AT&T Stadium's consumption at its peak demand will be used for one train. Okay? Approximately 12 megawatts during acceleration. Approximately 6 megawatts when cruising at maximum speed. Regenerative braking technology recycles approximately 10% of the energy back to the grid. ERCOT, that's a name that everybody has learned in the last month or so, has an installed grid capacity of over 80,000 megawatts. So, yeah, it won't touch anywhere on the... Won't mess it up. There we are. Dallas station. Let me put the... Speaking of... Let me put the printing temperature a little bit higher over here. I don't know why it's going at 200 degrees Celsius. It should be 225. Especially for PLA+. I don't want any stringing. There we are. So look at that, the Dallas station. The only thing I don't like about the Dallas station, it doesn't look as it's not as vertically inclined as Miami Central. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what TOD they're really transit-oriented development, what they're planning for here. But this would be a good idea if they could add more transit-oriented development. I don't want it to end up like Metro Rail stations or stations around the country where they just have an elevated train station and nothing else. I doubt it won't, but we'll never know. Again, it's not it's not finalized. It looks nice inside, wood paneling and whatnot, very modern. For a rail station, yeah, that's what you're gonna get. I mean, if you look at it, it kind of looks like some of the Japanese rail stations. And I mean like the ones that are outside the main stations in an urban area. That's what they kind of look like. And again, but the problem is those stations also have other rails, going into there. I mean, you have the Tokyo Metro going into as well as the Shinkansen. So yeah, this is what we're looking at, and these are all the supporters and partners, all the business partners that are all supporting Texas Central Rail. And most likely, look, when the Texas, just show, and with with all these business coalitions, there's no doubt that the state of Texas is not going to let this in because it's going to tick off a lot of people. And really, it all comes down to the almighty dollar, at some point. So they're going to say, yeah, it's going to be a net benefit, right? It's not to say that we're only doing high-speed rail because of the dollar, guys. There's a lot of social benefits to it as well. And there you go. Join the conversation if you want to follow Texas Central. They got their Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They don't have a Discord server and they don't play Minecraft, so don't ask. All right. So Boris Lipkin from California High-Speed Rail Project. So we'll look a little bit into that. Again, you're going to notice there's a big difference between the two. And during out the presentation, these guys were kind of making a little bit some jabs here or there at each other. They're on the same team. At the end of the day, we're all trying to bring rail into this country. The thing is, you don't see this amount of, I would say, companies and stuff behind it. You're going to see, well, we're building over here, and, we're going to do that, and we're providing this amount of jobs, and, we got that, but, what is the concrete plan you guys are going to offer, And, again, I'm hoping this project works out. We've had spats about California high-speed rail. And it's more to do with, what are you guys doing instead of, we don't support the project. It has nothing to do with it at all. Of course we support the project. We just don't support some of the ways it's being done. That's all. And we have interviewed some people from California High-Speed Rail. I probably will try to see if I can get interview Boris Lipkin and get him on the show, and we can have everybody can be able to have a conversation with him. Yeah, if there was one thing I didn't... one con about the RPA's webinar was that they didn't really get that much questions from the audience or the comments. This is why we're cool over here, because I'm always taking stuff from the comments and audience. But that's what we do. So look at this. Construction progress, 199 miles environmentally cleared, 119 under construction. Caltrain Electrification construction is underway. For those of you who keep asking about Caltrain Electrification, they are doing it. And this is the area. Let me see if I can present. Start. Okay, so it's Control F5. That's the hotkey for that. All right. So funding committed for LAUS improvements. They have the MOU with Brightline West, which will be going again. Brightline West is going to be, and we already know this. Brightline is probably going to have a high-speed train in California before California High-Speed Rail even gets one running. It'll be kind of ironic and hilarious at the same time, but that's what it is. And they are going to be improving the Los Angeles Union Station, which, again, if you have stations there that are historic stations, they should be the ones that should be receiving it. In terms of Tampa, that's a whole other story because Amtrak is running it, and Brightline just doesn't want to use the station, which is, that's their own choice. It would be nice if Brightline could go ahead and, take the station if they could, but that's not going to happen. They want to do it their own way, which is perfectly fine. Station planning is going to be done. So here we are. Jobs created in 2018, 2,573. Currently, well, not currently, but in 2020. Again, I don't know when in 2020 they did this. This was the revised draft 2020 business plan. Excuse me. Structures completed or in construction, 19 versus 56. Again, what counts as the structures? I don't know. Environmental drafts released and ROD certified, 5 versus 12. Right-of-way parcels acquired. Again, it's just an increase. Monthly average expenditures on design build contracts, $68 million. Maybe that's not a good thing to show that's increasing, but then again, it shows that work is being done, right? It shows that work is being done. This is the thing, the San Joaquin River Viaduct that they've gotten done. They do have physical infrastructure that they can show and say, hey, we are doing something, right? That's what it is. Is the Caltrain Electrification finished? It's not finished yet. No, they're electrifying. They haven't finished it yet. So here we are. The Conejo Viaduct. Again, there's all jobs that are working on, and it's not just for the high-speed train. They're also working again. You can see here's Union Pacific just rolling along over here. You know, it's for everything. It's cross-functional. Now, here's another problem, and another kind of, I wouldn't say gripe, but here's something that I have with when it comes to this. And I understand that the way that they're constructing this, it needs to be done this way. The Wasco Viaduct will take high-speed trains over the existing BNSF freight tracks and will be nearly 2,000 feet long when complete. This superstructure is part of CP4, which is expected to be complete spring 2022. Now, the thing is, and it's not just this, it's also smaller viaducts, right? And smaller, that they're just building in one by one by one. Here's what they're doing over in China. Let me take a break over here while we're watching this happen. Let's watch. Maybe it's Ching Chang Hanzi. I don't know. No, it's just piano music. It's CCP piano music. Yeah, but guys, look, they were 20 years ago they had nothing. They didn't have an electrified line. I was looking at this over here, back here, the little history of trains. Let me just pause this for a second. So over here, there's a little timeline on the history of trains on here, and it says 2001 China builds its first electrified rail line. Electrified rail line, period. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know, if that's taking just the passenger rail or whatnot, but it's true. They came from basically nothing 20 years ago, and then 10 years ago, well, not 10 years ago, but back in 2008, Obama was in office and was promising high-speed rail, right? China had just started building high-speed rail. They had their Xinjiang to Beijing line, which wasn't that long, and they just exploded from there. From what was around 29 miles or so of high-speed rail line, or I think more than that, 50 miles of high-speed rail line, to now the entire country and double the world's high-speed rail lines combined. So this is what we're dealing with. Oh, let me go back to where we were. Here we are. But this is similar to what Brightline is now doing with their box jacking method, which is getting completed parts. So they go ahead and complete the parts, and it's like building a Lego piece together, right? But you have big sets of the Lego piece, and you're just putting it together instead of one by one by one. You're just snapping sets together. So this is what they do. So they already have them all set. Here we go. 9 stages, 18 procedures, box girders. Days, and then they can build a mile a day of bridges. And so I want to see the part where they go ahead and just put it together. Yeah, look at that. They just put it together and just snap them together, like that, instead of just having people, look at that, and they can just get this done. So maybe that's something that we can do. Again, we keep hearing all the great stuff. We keep hearing good stuff. We are seeing good stuff. It wouldn't be fair to say that we're not seeing good stuff, but we have to up our game. We have to up our game. Pete Buttigieg, who's the current U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary, I want the United States to be leading the world when it comes to access of high-speed rail. Well, that's going to take that's going to take a whole lot to do, right? America has a chance to lead the world once more through innovation and infrastructure, connecting our communities, creating good jobs, addressing climate change, ensuring equity. Passenger rail development, including world-class high-speed rail, can and must be a part of our strategy to accomplish these goals. As in many other arenas, California has taken the lead nationally to advance high-speed rail, starting an economically transformative project in the Central Valley. That's Acting Federal Railroad Administration in Mid-Bose. Let's see. The U.S. Department of Transportation looks forward to partnering with California as it leads the way to build back better. Okay. Again, the other problem that California had stated was they basically had what quote radio silence from the last administration. Okay. Again, that had a lot to do with the spat between Newsom and Trump over the border wall, and California high-speed rail just sort of became the bargaining chip in the middle, unfortunately. This is what happens. Trump did the same thing in New York with the Gateway project, because which was sucked. That was a dumb thing to do, and well, now he's back in Mar-a-Lago, just having this sad little not even Twitter. He doesn't even have Twitter anymore. It's what a sad way to go, and the Q people will still be thinking he'll be back in August. I don't know if you guys have heard that he'll be back in August. Okay, all right, sure. Good luck with that. So business plan. So you get that the public comment period. Board assembly and state senate. Okay, so we know all this. So the big date that's we're looking at is the submittal to the legislature, and hopefully the the California legislature will pass the business plan, and California can get moving along. Again, the only problem I have with this is that they haven't shown who's actually doing what. Although we kind of have a hint of the rolling stock, though, or who's going to be the technology partner over here. It's probably going to be Siemens, most likely. They're already there near Sacramento. They've already built a whole bunch of chargers. They built for Brightline. Most likely Siemens is going to be having Valeros, running over here as well. Which, hey, it's good business for Siemens, right? They're doing freaking great. All right, and then Seth Moulton went ahead and also, but he didn't have any slides. So he did have some notes, which I did go ahead and I was listening to this, like taking screenshots, switching back and forth, and then taking notes on my stupid little Google Keeps or whatever. But this was something funny that Moulton did recognize, is having hubs like Chicago to Atlanta, and then he specifically mentioned Indianapolis. He said, what it will do for that city, what it would do for specifically Indianapolis, and other cities like Indianapolis, because of course I do live in Indy right now, but cities like that are centrally located, that have been reaching and trying to bring themselves back up again. The kind of development that would bring back and boost into the urban area would be fantastic, right? That would be great. Someone's asking, is Siemens a good company? Yeah, they are a good company. No rolling stock has been decided yet. So let me just reiterate myself over here. Okay, when it comes to California, they have not officially decided a rolling stock yet. I mean, we've known, like, California, when they first started out, they had these these CG renders, these mid 2000s tier CG renders, because that's how old they've been doing this for now, like the TGVs. And then they went from there to N700s, and then they started going back and forth between like N700s and 500 series Shinkansens, and now they're at Siemens Valeros. I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. Again, it's cool to talk about the rolling stock, guys, but really the big thing comes down to the construction and actually having the high speed trains, moving along and actually moving people. That's really what it comes down to. Or gelato train sets. Is it literally called that? I don't know if you're trolling me or what. I think so. I don't think so. Don't worry. All right. I wish they used TGV instead of ugly Valeros. Well, maybe the AGV. The AGV is also the newer version. Which is basically what the Avalia is. Alright. So, another thing that Seth Moulton was talking about, and really this is the big problem, and I do agree with him on this. I agree with him on basically everything. And he's a Democrat, right? Even though, like, everybody keeps asking, what my party is, so, like, let me just find this over here. So, this was my voter registration card back when I was living in Dade County, Miami-Dade County. Okay, so you guys can see no party affiliation, NPA, and I still am NPA. Because, if anything, the closest party that I would probably, be is probably the GOP, and the GOP absolutely sucks. They're cowards. They're awful. Just an awful party. Democrats also, but hey, it's what it is. This is politics here in the United States now. I wish we'd have more parties. It would be a heck of a lot more honest, probably. But let's see. I don't know. Let's see. But let's talk about what else Seth Knowlton says. So let me go ahead and bring up the notes back on my phone again. Let me see. Another thing that he said that, usually what happens is that the Fed will pony up for road and air, but not for rail. Which is, it's true. It's the sheer hypocrisy of it. Even libertarians and conservatives have said it. I've even put it on the channel that, it makes no sense that America tries to put itself as some sort of laissez-faire economy, but yet when it comes down to, supporting infrastructure, the government will go ahead and spend an unbalanced and ridiculous amount of money on roads and airlines, but only not even a fraction, a sliver. Not even a sliver, maybe a crumb of that for rail. I mean, they'll go ahead and spend like $100 billion on road improvements, and then they'll spend here's $2 billion for rail across the entire nation. Yeah, and again, look, a lot of people. Seth did work for TCR. That's correct. And now he's a congressman in Massachusetts. I think he said kind of the story there. I don't quite remember it or recall it at this point. And having said, he was the one that helped to get the joint ticket with Amtrak in Texas. He's a big supporter of this the Biden infrastructure plan. And really it comes down to the other thing that he also mentioned was we're not trying to go ahead and invent something new over here, right? Which is what a lot of people keep trying to do. Well, not a lot of people. There are some people out there that say, "Oh, we need to build our own type of high-speed rail." Well, yeah, we could say that the Hyperloop is probably one of these red herrings that really go ahead and distract the public from real solutions that have been implemented across the entire globe and can be very well implemented over here. It really comes down to that, is that we're not looking to try to go ahead and reinvent the wheel, right? The rest of the world is ahead of us, so let's just do what the rest of the world has done. Look, China has done this, okay? We can go ahead and say here all day, and with 100% certainty, yes, China did, steal the designs. Well, they didn't steal well, you could say they stole the designs, or borrowed the designs, as they would say, borrowed for the Chinese nation. But did they take the designs? Yeah. Did they go ahead and afterwards, did they reverse engineer them and make their own? Yeah. And look what they are. 15 years later, look where they are. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. We want to the rest of the world is ahead of us. Okay? We're kind of stuck with this whole mentality of, America number one, the USA is the best. We haven't been the best for a while. In a whole lot of things, guys. Maybe the only institution that we still have the best is our military, and that's not going to even last too well with the changes they're doing to the military. That's not going to last too long. I'm sorry for those of you, and I do have a lot of members, a lot of family members who are in the military and have been in the military, but the changes they're doing in the military is we're not going to be number one in a lot of things. All right, so we need to look at what the rest of the world has done. Implement that, improvise it to what we do, and make it our own. That's what we got to do. Yeah, and build them over here. Let's go ahead and some of these comments over here. All right. Let's see if I can go ahead and get the Discord working over here. Can I move? Who can I move next in line here? How can I do this? All right. Let's see. I'm on Discord now. Let's see if I can move people now. Video mute. Where's move? Okay. All right, guys. Let's take a. Do I have a little break over here that I can do? All right. Let's take a little bit of a break over here, and let's see if I can figure out this whole Discord thing. All right. Let's give it 5 minutes. We'll put a little movie over here for you guys and BRB.
When New Jersey Transit decided to repaint a GG1 in the paint scheme of the Pennsylvania Railroad, it did so because of the historical importance of these legendary locomotives. Like restoring a classic car, Craftsman sanded, stripped, and smoothed number 4877's streamlined body. Primer coats were sprayed, then simulated gold leaf. Hand-cut stencils were used to make the Pennsylvania's keystone symbols, stripes, and lettering. 9 gallons of Tuscan red then brightened to a gleaming burgundy glow. With the support of the National Railway Historical Society and its own people, New Jersey Transit was now the proud owner of a true classic. A classic that became affectionately known as Big Red.
You've heard a lot of songs of famous trains along the track. But how about the engines that take them there and bring them back? The story's about an engine, a GG1 by name. She's riding into history, into a hall of fame. She still wears fancy colors, golden stripes and Tuscan red. Ran for the Pennsylvania until that line went dead. And Central, then Conrail, Jersey Transit too. 'Cause my dad's her engineer, her story I'll tell you. Oh, Big Red, speeding up and down the line. Oh, Big Red, gets her people there on time. She's a mighty GG1, my favorite, you see. Her 50 years of service was a place in history.
The trains of the North Jersey coastline served the shore, beginning at Bay Head, just south of Point Pleasant. Here, summertime means fun
Why
time.
is this not working?
The ocean, the beach. Here, too, are year-round communities. Solidly suburban towns like serene Spring Lake, to action-filled Asbury Park with its boardwalk and games. The ever-changing moods of the sea attract many thousands to year-round shore living, to sea-viewing homes, to an early morning ocean dip. Early morning, too, finds many shore residents riding the coastline past rivers, inlets, and lakes on their way to work. On the south side of Raritan Bay, a brief stop is made at South Amboy to receive other passengers and to change engines. This start-of-the-day routine makes this area of town a very busy place. Engineer Cliff Underwood, this early morning begins like countless others in his nearly 30 years of railroading. He has worked on steam, diesel, and electric.
All right, everyone. I'm back. All right. So apparently I don't have the role in Discord to move people into different servers. Don't know why. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can try to call people individually and see if that works. Let's see if we can get something out of there. Hopefully, This will probably work. But let's see. Alright, I see the first one in here was High Speed Rick. So let's go ahead and give him a call and see if we can get this going. Let's see. Alright. We'll go ahead and put this little Thomas phone here. And let's see if this works. Alright. Apologies, guys. I thought this was going to work. It was just a matter of just going ahead and dragging and dropping people into here. Okay. I don't think this is working. Go back to Transport Central. Okay. Can I move somebody here? All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with the Discord. I thought I did have the permissions to do that. That's unfortunate. All right. Let me go ahead and just put somebody. Maybe there's a mod on there on Discord. I can get permissions to move people to the server. I'll just go ahead and just type that down. All right. Well, anyway, unfortunately, guys, it doesn't look like that's where we're doing the calls right now. Maybe we could be able to do it later on in the stream. Let's hope so. But right now, it doesn't seem like it's working right now. So if you guys are in the queue, just stick in there. Hopefully, we can get this done. Maybe within the next 30 minutes or so, we'll get that fixed up. But let's hope that we can get that done. Any news on the Gateway project? Nothing right now in terms of the Gateway. Nothing has really come out in terms of that. Apart from they are looking to go ahead and push that through again. But I mean that's been a given with this administration. Hopefully that they will get that done. It's big. That's a big thing. Oh, this was funny. So the chat over here in the RPA was pretty. It's pretty good. So I did save some of these. Again. The thing is that a lot of these comments weren't really addressed by the RPA, and again that makes sense because they're doing a full panel here. They only have an hour, while we usually have stuff, and we're just going ahead and going on for 2.5 hours. But that's what it is. How fast do I type? I've been typing since the Windows 95 days. So I mean yeah. How is progress on the Aventura station in Florida? They have started building in Florida, and they hopefully will get that done, I believe, by 2023. By the end of next year, it should be completed and starting operation from the Aventura station. Hopefully, Brightline, as they said, will start this year again. They'll start operations back between Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach at the end of Q4. So that's the end of 2020. Downloaded Zoom, open your iPhone. Okay. I think people in Idaho, Montana prefer people in Portland and Seattle to stay there, probably, with the way things are going. But yeah, these are some of these are kind of funny. Some of these are good. There was one guy on here that was pretty ticked off that the California building between. I believe there was a portion between San Francisco that they were doing that was only going to be singular track. That didn't make any sense. But that's what it is. Hopefully they won't. And this was, some of these make sense. Don't forget that China does not have an EIS to deal with when it comes to building infrastructure. Why was the U.S. able to build freeways quickly in the 1950s and 60s before the EIS came to play? All the U.S. does is talk while the nations act. That said, the concepts of law and human rights are in their infancy in China. I don't think that's human rights and law in China. That's their maturity, man. I don't think infancy. China is an old civilization. They've been like that for a while. You're not going to see much of it when it comes to human rights in Chinese history. But anyway, I digress. Thus, keep in mind that when quoting the 10-year time frame, who did the Chinese government screw over to get such a network built in such a short period of time? How many workers building the HSR were seriously hurt or killed in the progress? And yeah, that's true. Probably the only reason Live Leak is still on is because of the amount of accidents in China that's caught on video and closed caption television, CCTV footage. All right. Let's go ahead and let's go get this. Let's look at this. Let me go ahead and reply to this, yeah. All right. Anyway, so this is big news that's happened in the last 48 hours. Amtrak Connect Us. So we're gonna go over this. This is basically all they've done. Of course, you see a bunch of articles, in many different cities going out, like how their city's gonna be back on the how their city's gonna be back on the network, or how their city's gonna get more infrastructure now. So this is pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see the full map. For some reason, the Amtrak website is down. I had to use Wayback Machine in order to go and get a snapshot that they had on April the 1st. But yeah, that's what we got right now. So let's look at that. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do something in the chat over here. All right, since we're probably not going to get the calls done this stream. But what we can do is at least we'll do some things, and maybe we'll make the stream shorter, and then we'll do another one on Friday, and we'll talk about this, and we'll bring this back up again. That's probably what will happen. So let's make this a short stream. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the chat, and we'll do that. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. That's totally my fault. I should have made sure that I at least had the roll done. If not, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a dummy over here and can't figure out Discord. I'm not on Discord half the time anyway. When I'm playing games, I'm just being my only little self anyway. that's all I do. Or with like the close 3 friends that I have. I used to, when I was playing on PlayStation 3, when I was playing Warhawk with my friend Parker, we just either talk on Skype or on our home phone. This was before they had the Bluetooth network working reliably, but that's what it is. All right. So with a growing and diverse population, a global climate crisis, and longer traffic jams, America needs a rail network that offers frequent, reliable, sustainable, and equitable train service. Amtrak has the vision and expertise to deliver on it. I'm not a big fan. Look, I get that we have to be green, and I'm all for that. I mean, I've never before said that we need to go ahead and pollute the entire world. Why would anybody say that? But what I'm saying is, if it's been that bad that we've been having a growing and diverse population and a global climate crisis for that long, why haven't we done much of anything? But anyway, I digress. I'm just picking at silly straws over here. That's just me. All right, so better rail transit means cleaner air. Okay, we're starting with that. Traveling on Amtrak is 83% more efficient. Look, the thing is that people want to hear what it's going to do for their communities. Look, I get the whole green thing. If you do a poll, and we have done polls, probably the priority that, I want a green way of transportation, that probably comes between 4th or last in this poll that I did back in college. Most people just want convenience, right? What's going to be the best value for them? What's going to be the best cost value to them? That's what they're looking for. And high-speed rail provides that other option. Oh, I think Highcast changed it. Okay, let's see if we can get this going. Yep, got it. All right, guys, change of plans here. The train is back on schedule. We are doing call-ins. Okay, so we're going to get that done. All right, perfect. Train back on schedule. Oops, made a typo there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get... let's add you to... can I add you to next in line? Oh, next in line seems locked. All right, I'm just gonna do it by ear over here. So whoever's in the queue, whoever was there first, I have a good memory, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. All right. So first on the call, let's go ahead and do the call over here. We're gonna have High Speed Rick on. All right, here we go. All right, High Speed Rick, you're on. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro.
All right, brother. Awesome.
Yeah, first, I just want to say I love your videos and your content on your YouTube page. You gotta keep it up.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's you know, it's the thing about YouTube. It's just the consistency, and hopefully I can keep the consistency this time because I've just been off sometimes. But now I'm getting back on there. All right, man.
Yeah, second, I have some questions and opinions. I want to bring up.
Sure.
I know the call time we have about 5 minutes. I'm trying to make it as short as possible.
Sure thing.
Yeah. My first question I want to know is when you release that New York or Tokyo Metro, do you plan to do like another similar video or like the Japan and America's Commuter Rail, like the Metro North, Long Island, the Railroad, Metro to Japan JR lines like the Yamanote Keikyo line? Yeah,
so all of that is going to be in there. So when we're talking about the New York Metro, we're really talking about the tri-state area as a whole, right? Everything, between, Newark, Connecticut, and New Jersey and New York, the Long Island, all of that's going to be in together. Because we're talking about the whole entire, the New York Metro area. The same thing with Tokyo. We're talking about, the whole Tokyo metro area. We're talking about everything to, from Tokyo to Saitama and other outlying areas in that, tremendous metro area. So that's really what it comes down to. Yeah, everything is going to be combined in that. That's why this video is looking to be, because a lot of it, we're looking at like the history of both lines, or not both lines, but both metros, right? And we're going back into the history, when it was the Brooklyn Rapid Transit and the IRT, and we're looking at Japan's, first rail lines. And Japan had a kind of a late start when it came to all of this, but by the middle of the 20th century, they were just going in and catching up and digging ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked you that, me, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, so I had that mentality that there's no rail transportation better than New York City.
Right.
So my first trip to Japan, I was convinced that Japan has a superior passenger line to America, but the freight line is not superior compared to America. That's kind of odd to see.
Right. Okay. One thing, Rick, it seems like some of the viewers here are having a little bit of trouble hearing your audio. If you can maybe fix that, or probably get clear into the microphone. Yeah, see if that works, and so everybody can hear you. All right, you there? All right. Hope I didn't inadvertently make him just hang up by accident. All right. Luckily, we have this working now. Okay. Yeah, and guys, just if you are going to be on here on the calls, just make sure everything works on your end. Just technology-wise, just make sure you got the microphone working and whatnot. Because we want everybody to hear you, right? We want everybody to be able to get your opinion. We want everybody to be able to hear your question correctly. All right. All right, Rick. We'll give you another 30 seconds. Hopefully, you can get everything done there. If not, I'll put you back on the queue, and once you get everything out, we'll go to whoever's next. I think David Mitchell was next, and we'll go from there. And remember, guys, try to keep to 5 minutes. Let's try to keep to 5 minutes over here. All right. Let me actually put on my my trusty watch here, my little Casio watch that I got from Japan. I've had this for years, and I've had this everywhere, and this has been like one of the best watches so far. All right, Rick, you there? All right, we can hear you now, or I can hear something.
All right, perfect.
All right.
All right, my second question is, do you prefer Brightline Train engines to be diesel BMU or electrical BMU, and why?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that too well.
The Brightline Train engines, do you prefer it to be diesel BMU or electrical BMU?
Should the Brightline trains be diesel or electric? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about Brightline in Florida, correct?
Of course.
All right. So for Brightline in Florida, the reason why they went diesel was they already had the infrastructure set up there by the FEC, the Florida East Coast Railroad. So it was going to make a heck of a lot more sense to just get diesel units just running on there. And the way diesel runs right now, I mean, 125 miles an hour is pretty good for what we have. So it really worked that way on their end. And they're going to have electric now on the Las Vegas to LA or Victorville route. So that makes sense.
My last one is a really good opinion, but I was wondering, to these anti-rail oppositions, or the NIMBYs we call them, you said earlier, a majority are boomers running against any rail project they see, but there are many problems with these organizations against Israel. They come with conspiracies, like false allegations, saying the train will go through schools, killing children, only pulling fried railroads, carrying LNG, some explosive materials. I know that one.
Yeah.
That can cause some major damage to destruction, and of course noise to quiet neighborhoods.
Right.
I think most of the people that's against this rail project are being manipulated from others to fear mongering, maybe bribery.
Yeah, and we've had that. I mean, we had the former chairman of American Airlines go ahead and fund Florida Not All Aboard. Yeah, it's happening. Anyway, I appreciate it, Rick. Thank you so much for coming on board, man.
Sure thing, man.
All right.
Keep it up, man. I love your videos.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care. We'll see you next time.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to move him back into the queue. All right. David Mitchell is next. You're on, David.
All right.
All right, David, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Sorry about that. Again, like it's I don't for some reason I don't have next in line working, so people would be able to see if they're next in line. But just assume that if you're in the queue, you may be next if I call your name up. That's
all right.
All right.
Hey, well, I just caught the 7076 locomotive about 50 minutes ago.
Oh, nice.
Caught that on my way home from work.
Nice. You're gonna put that on your channel?
Going on my video blog later on this week.
All right, good. So what's up, man? Are you excited about this plan for Amtrak Connects Us? What do you think about that?
Pretty big, and it's pretty big for the area for Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Because they'll be using the old Fort Loop with Norfolk Circuit rail bank that back in 2020. So, because Amtrak is going to be going to Asheville, North Carolina, that would be a good sign.
Yeah, and that seems to be one of the new lines over here. Okay, so yeah, just quick for everybody who's watching. So these light blue lines over here that you see, these are new services that Amtrak wants to do. So you can see some of them from what David's saying here, from Salisbury to Asheville. Even some that are coming back, like New Orleans to Mobile. That's the old Sunset Limited that was again messed up during that the bridge crash. Yeah. Well, yeah, Hurricane Katrina, yeah, and then also what happened, I think, yeah, during that.
Okay, I need to bring up, what do you think about the CP and Kansas City merger?
Okay, yeah, is that are we talking about the USMCA merger between Canadian Pacific and
Kansas City Southern? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think. Look, I said it last stream. It can be good. Again, if it doesn't become a monopoly control of the rail line, because it could very well turn into products and goods can become cheaper because you're having this amount of cooperation between two lines. Or it can become more expensive because now two lines are taking a monopoly control over their infrastructure. So it can very well go two ways, and we have a lot of evidence in the United States where it has gone both ways. So we're just hoping it goes the right way.
Because the last big merger between two Class 1 was Santa Fe and Burlington and Northern with made BNSF back in the 1990s.
Right.
That was the last big merger between two Class 1s, and because this will be another one, meaning Kansas City Southern and CP or Canadian Pacific will be both fallen flag railroads.
Right.
Because both of them will have to change their name into one, meaning both paint schemes of both railroads are probably going to have to go, meaning just like how BNSF performed, there'll be a new railroad company.
Right.
So there'll be a new Class 1,
Yeah. That makes sense. But again, having that, like I mentioned before, and a lot of people have been saying this about precision scheduled railroading. There's a lot of, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this too. There's a lot of mixed reactions about it.
Well, my cousin, his name is Willis Ford. He worked for CXX here in South Carolina at Bailey Yard here in Charleston on the A line. He said that most of the railroad workers, they hate it.
Yeah.
Because they are having problem with trains right now because they've been unhiring people. There have been less people to run the trains because of PSR. Like, a lot of people have been let go.
Yeah. I think we need to do like an episode dedicated to PSR.
Hey, I might join you in that one because I might be a big help because of my cousin.
All right. Yeah, sir. Yeah, for sure. If you have any, information on that, yeah, just send it to my email. I think you have it for the arcsecretary1@gmail.com. But yeah, send that there so we can be able to get that done. But hey, I appreciate it, David. Thank you so much for coming on again.
But what do you think about the S1 being taken over by Amtrak and being reopened? What do you think about that?
Look, I think it's good. At least Amtrak has, more areas to go to. That's what they need. And I'm looking here on the map. If you guys see on the map, Atlanta, Chattanooga, and Nashville. You can see where they're trying to get Nashville to Louisville over here. That's just missing right there. Of course, right over here, like north of Atlanta, that's where you get to the Appalachian territory, and it just gets dicey up here. But it can be done. Yeah.
And Tennessee will have it first with my sister Mary. She lives in Tennessee.
Oh.
It'll be the first fully fledged train to go right in smack dead in middle Tennessee, the Amtrak train, in a long time.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And that's what it's all about, is connecting all these places together. That's what we really need. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on, David. I appreciate it.
No problem. Oh, before I go, you might want to talk about the Green Mountain Railroad trying to top the CXX in Tennessee and Wyoming.
Yeah, probably not going to have enough time to talk about that because we have a lot to talk about in terms of just this Amtrak Connect Us alone.
All right, well, I'll join next week in next week's live stream, man.
Sure thing. Take care.
Later, man.
All right. Thank you, David. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break from the calls for now. Crowbar K will be next, followed by Rennell Reed, and if anybody else is in the queue, we'll go from there. I'll keep keeping an eye on there. All right, let's see what's in the comments over here. Louisville and Nashville. I'm sure there is a railroad between the two. Yeah, there are railroads over here, except it's very, very populated by a lot of freight railroad over here. Because where I used to live over here in Columbus, you have, of course, the Louisville line down there. But yeah, and the thing is that there's a lot of single trackage in that area, so it really needs to just be upgraded for the amount of freight that's going in that area. You don't have enough trackage as there is. So here we go. Decades overdue. Transportation industry cheers Biden's infrastructure plan. So CNN did this whole thing where they basically covered Biden's new infrastructure plan. And again, I know a lot of you guys aren't a fan of Amtrak Joe over here. Again, I just hope for the best. You guys know, I was a fan of the last guy, but hey, they all say they're gonna do something, and then, but let's just hope that all this talk is going to come out with something, right? So, as we remember, Trump's plan was a $1 trillion plan for infrastructure. Now Joe is going to top that with a $2.2 trillion infrastructure plan. So he's going to top that off. And how that's going to be done? Most of that is going to be by increasing taxes, by raising corporate taxes. So the plan is to increase corporate taxes from 21% to 28%. If you guys remember, Trump took it down from 35% to 21%. So Biden's going to put it up in the middle. And look, the problem with corporate tax rates, corporations, they guzzle a lot of money, right? And again, when people say that, this company is worth X amount of money, it doesn't mean that Amazon has X amount of money hidden in a Scrooge McDuck sort of vault, okay? Because people have this sort of mentality, and a lot of that is due to the media. I get it. There's a lot of hate for the rich. There's a lot of reasons to hate them for, but not for having a lot of money. It's for having money and not doing good things with it. That's an acceptable way of looking at it. But the problem is that when you start upping the corporate tax rates, they're going to find ways to get around, right? And they always find ways to screw over the little guy. That's just the truth of it. So there really needs to be protections when it comes to that. But, we're talking about Congress, which a lot of their lobbyists and a lot of their friends are big business. So let's see. Eliminate tax breaks for fossil fuels. Yeah, okay, that's fair. How about all these subsidies on corn, too? I know that's not a popular thing to say in Indiana, and I've mentioned it before about a lot of the Midwest and a lot of states. Look, the only reason why they're growing corn is because it's the only profitable, and soybeans too. Those are really the big two profitable cash crops because the government subsidizes it, or at least doesn't punish you for it. So that's really the big thing. Shifting to greener energy. So let's look at what's in the proposal. Let's see if we can look in there. Again, transportation, $621 billion. Okay. Allocating $115 billion to modernize 20 miles of highways, roads, and Main Street. $20 billion to improve road safety. $85 billion to modernize existing transit and help agencies expand their systems. And $80 billion would go to address Amtrak's repair backlog and modernize the Northeast Corridor between Boston and D.C. This would be good. Okay? Now, look, I want to just look at this, guys. So it went from 115 to 80 for Amtrak. That's a lot more balanced right now. Now we're talking about something here. And 85 for transit. Okay? So we're talking about out of a total of $621 billion. Okay? Also, the president will funnel $25 billion to airports, $17 billion to inland waterways, ports, and ferries. Okay? Unfortunately, there's a lot going into investment of the electric vehicle market. Now, it's not that I have anything against electric vehicles. You guys have seen the other videos. I think electric cars are great. The problem is that if you want to get people out of cars, you need to give them the option to get out of a car, which is going to be a train, right? Or better transit. So I really do think that this bill, there should be more allocated to transit and to Amtrak instead of to electric vehicles. This is a start, though. And look, I don't know if this is going to really pass. Again, Biden has both the Senate and the House. Okay? There should be no reason why it shouldn't pass. But Obama also had the Senate and the House until 2010. And Trump had the Senate and the House until 2018. So, I mean, you know, who knows? Who knows at this point? Will most of this get out of committee? Will there be a rogue Democrat that says something? Or will there be a rogue Republican? Well, the Republicans, there'll probably be a mixture of Republicans, right? Because you'll have Republicans that are in these districts and Republicans that are in these states that are going to profit from this, right? They're going to benefit from the amount of expenditures that is going into their state, right? So if you have a state like that, you know, it can be a state like Indiana or a state like Iowa or a state, you know, like Texas. If they're going to be getting a good amount of money, then most likely, yeah, they'll go ahead and do it, okay? Or a state like Florida, right? Florida's been like the rogue one right now, which I've been saying, you know, hey, if Florida secedes, you know, I'm packing my bags and getting a tan again. But hey, it's what it is. Not that I've been able to get rid of this tan that I've had, the 24-year tan that I've had. But it's what it is. So that's the big thing here. The problem is that this whole national network of 500,000 charging stations by 2030. That's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. You're not going to get 500,000 charging stations by 2030. There's no way. Look at Tesla. Tesla has made their own charging stations, and you can use those, free of charge if you bought a Tesla between a certain time frame. But yeah, you can just go up to them and just use them. And they're in pretty good areas, some of them. But that's having some sort of private-public partnership in order to do that. But he's also saying this American-made electric vehicles includes giving consumers rebates and tax incentives to buy American-made electric vehicles and establishing grant and incentive programs to build their 500,000 charging stations by 2030, which is not going to happen. Okay, so yeah, maybe the only thing we'll see out of this is that maybe the Tesla will be cheaper now again. They'll have the grant available, which they were making a big deal when I was about to order a Tesla. Back when I thought I was going to make gorillions of dollars. That didn't happen after this whole crisis started. But hey, it's what it is. All right. Well, we have a little bit of a. Well, I guess YouTube actually did something. They stopped a troll here in the comments. All right. Let me look at the chat over here real quick. We need to Robin Hood the rich. By Robin Hooding the rich. Again, let's be careful what we say on here on these streams, guys. Like I know, look, now I know we're young, and I know a lot of people are upset the way that politics has gotten from both sides. Okay, look, I've said this before. Like I've always tried to keep myself in the public at least a countenance of at least of centrism, right? Even though I am conservative. I wouldn't say like conservative in the way that conservatives are. Those are conservatives. I'm not that conservative. But let's put it this way, right? In this political environment that we have, what is the similarity between Antifa and the Tiki Torch Bearers and Unite the Right, right? Is that both those groups have they have no confidence in our government, right? And they're both young, right? These are both, millennials and Gen Z, right? None of these people have confidence in government. So they're going to go their separate ways, whether it's to the far left or to the far right, right? That's the problem, okay? And I think it was Matt Gaetz, I think, the one who's in trouble right now for having a 17-year-old hooker, which I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by any of these congressmen doing the stuff that they're doing. But then he said that, he said this, that Congress has a lower approval rating than Muammar Gaddafi And you know what they did to Muammar Gaddafi with his approval rating in Libya. Again, that's what he says. But, let's see. Let's see. We have to stick on infrastructure. That's what it is. Infrastructure is political, which is why we have to interject politics when we're speaking about this. But, this is what it is. There's a channel called, if you guys want to look about Brightline's construction, the Roaming Rail Fan is the best channel that's covering Brightline's construction. I mean, this guy is just going ahead, taking his drone, and just taking everything that Brightline is doing. He's doing a fantastic job. So give him, again, I always give him a shout out every single time. I do have to bring him on the show sometimes. Manufacturing, $300 billion. Semiconductor manufacturing, medical manufacturing. Really, what this needs to go down to is we need the manufacturing and transit and transportation to be combined together. But at least, look, transportation is getting the bulk of it, right? That's very good. That's very good. I was going to talk about this, but it looks like it may not be happening because Secretary Pete was talking about having a mileage tax. So basically how it would work is how the DOT, or how he wanted the DOT to go ahead and fund infrastructure, is that they would tax per mile every American by every mile they drive, right? Here's the problem with that. You now have a lot of people, a lot of lower income people, okay, and a lot of people who were, middle class and now have fallen down the brackets because they're now doing Uber, or a lot of people are doing Uber by choosing to do Uber. A lot of people who are doing, Amazon, deliveries, pizza deliveries, or food deliveries, Uber Eats, whatever it is, right, or Lyft. These are the people that's going to be hurt by a sort of tax like this. Okay, that's the problem for a vehicle miles travel tax, is that you hurt those people. Okay, which was funny because I was driving with Holly. We're going to go ahead and visit her folks, which they live down the street. And we see an Uber driver in front of us, right next to a Domino's driver. And I said, that's the problem with that, is that you're going to hurt those people, okay? You're going to hurt those people. And the guy, one's in a Nissan Altima, like an 06 Nissan Altima. The other guy's like in a Toyota Corolla from 03, that's kind of falling apart delivering pizza. But those are the people you're going to hurt, And those jobs already don't pay as much as they, as they do, because of the cost it has to be to maintain a vehicle. You see, that's the problem. Is the cost of maintaining a vehicle really, really bites into a lot of other people. Yeah, and this is true. This is why we need to do that. Yeah. Okay. Well, that comment's off. I'm not gonna even say that. Okay, this is funny. From Musichi Miss. Do you think Elon Musk's underground tunnel will get funding? If so, what country? Not the U.S. Probably, yeah. In some countries it has gotten funding, like in India, and I believe some European countries are looking in it. They are building it in Las Vegas, it's Nevada, right underneath the monorail. That's really that underground. So again, the media also always confuses it, so that's why everybody's confused. The Boring Company and the Hyperloop are two different things. Yes, Elon Musk went ahead and dreamed up the Hyperloop, or penned it down in his alpha document, and basically said this is a public domain document. Anybody can do whatever they want with it. It's all yours. I'm not working on the Hyperloop. So he basically gave the Hyperloop to the world, and you have several Hyperloop companies that have come up, and some of them that have disappeared or have gone insolvent from the Hyperloop. The Boring Company is the one that is doing the little tunnels with the Teslas. Okay, so those are two different things. Two distinct different things, okay? The Boring Company and the Hyperloop, okay? But yeah, both dumb ideas, okay? And look, I have praised Elon Musk when he's been right. Elon Musk is like, again, out of all the top CEOs in the United States, Elon Musk is the coolest one, okay? He's not. Well, to some people, yeah, he is a jerk, to some people. But let's put it this way: he's a complete saint compared to Bezos and some of these other people. Okay, he's not a Bezos. Which, funny enough, I was getting some more. This train is printing good. We'll probably have this train printed out by the end of the stream. Speaking of, I needed to get some more plastic, some PLA plus for the printer. And they said they could have it delivered on Easter. I said no. I'm not gonna have somebody deliver it on a holy Sunday. No. Deliver it to me on Monday. Absolutely not. I'm not going to have somebody work on Easter Sunday. That's disgusting. You shouldn't be having... If the post office doesn't have deliveries on Sunday, Amazon should not be having deliveries on Sunday. Okay? There is nothing that is that important that anybody needs on a Sunday. Okay? That's just cruel. Okay? Cruel and unusual. But hey, Amazon will get away with the wagey cage, if anybody has seen that meme, the wagey cage. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. Yeah, the Boring Company is the same technology as a guided bus, except it's more expensive, and they're just, building it underneath a tunnel. So here from Street Blogs USA, another article that I found. 5 questions about Biden's infrastructure project. Yeah, I didn't even read this one. I just saw it. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm just going through my phone. I'm like, yeah, I'll save that article. I'll go through that one. I've only read like some of the first several articles. This one I haven't. Yes, do we really need this much money for electric cars? Do we really need this much money for electric cars? I don't think so. The problem is that that's been an industry that's been doing quite well in the private sector. We don't need the government to put any more stimulus into electric cars. I think every company has gotten the point. To the point that GM is now, doing electric cars and it's going full force into electric cars. To the point that we will now never again have any more Audi internal combustion engines ever developed again. Which is a sad thing. If you guys have seen the Audi Quattro in Group B, or if you've seen some of those videos, that is legendary. You guys know I'm a car guy. Car guy turned to helping rail, because we can have both. Why not, right? And airlines too. But this is, it's ridiculous. The largest part of the bill, is for electric vehicles. $174 billion. To build a ridiculous amount of EV charging stations that's never going to get done. Yeah, by 2030. 2030 is 9 years from now. Basically 8 whenever this gets going. Maybe 7, right? Whenever this really gets going. 7 years and 500,000 EV charging stations at the state that the American economy is now is impossible. Not improbable. Now I'm saying it's impossible. Because that's just not going to happen. I can bet money on that, even though I shouldn't. That's betting's a sin. Advocates say something in the ballpark of $37.5 billion of those dollars would go toward transit buses. That makes sense. Like if you have electric buses, that makes sense. Which we actually have some electric buses here in Indianapolis, which I am going to go ahead and do since it's now starting to warm up. We'll do something on BRT, which I have mixed feelings about BRT. Yeah, we should be doing streetcars, but it is what it is. The thing is that when we do streetcars here in America, they're just they just turn into now buses because now they're following red lights. You're defeating the whole purpose of the streetcar. The streetcar should only stop when it's picking up and letting off passengers at stations. It should never ever stop at a red light. That is stupid. There's no other word for saying it. It's stupid. No doubt that electric vehicles, vehicle electrification is a critical harm reduction strategy in our fight to curb climate change. Yeah, but some advocates are wondering why cars are featured quite so heavily in the package. Yeah, and this is, again, look at this. Let's see if we can bring up this Twitter photo. Yeah, this is the silly thing about this. This should be electric vehicles incentives. It should be cut to at least half. At least half. This other half should go split into public transportation and passenger railways. Just passenger railways, not freight railways. Just passenger railways. Okay? That's what it should be done, right? Look, if it were me, I wouldn't be giving anything to electric vehicles at this point. The car industry is fine at this point, even though, yeah, is it failing because of the COOF? Yeah. Sorry, too bad. You had your bailout 10 years ago. You don't need another one. The people need their bailout. The people need to get back to work. Okay, that's what it should be. At least airports now. Airlines are not even on here. When it comes to other, maybe airlines or other. I'm not quite sure. Airports definitely is airlines. So that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. Yeah, betting is a sin just like panhandling, sitting at corners of grocery stores. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the problem is when people are panhandling grocery stores, a lot of them are, like, what was that that story in New York like several years ago where that one cop saw this guy on the street and he was like, cold and whatnot. And he bought him boots, And then when the New York Post went to go ahead and interview the homeless guy, they found out he wasn't so homeless, and he was actually living in Section 8 housing and had EBT. A lot of the homelessness is due to mental illness. Mental illness is due to a lot of reasons, but a lot of these people have mental illness because they have no job and they have no purpose in life, and because of that, you have a lot more people with mental illness, or have weaned into a mental illness because of medications, because of a disability. It's sad. It's sad that this is happened in this country. How we spend that $20 billion to make streets safe at all? Really, that's the thing. When you have this, and they're going to spend $20 billion, hopefully don't spend $20 billion on just painting a line and painting little stick figure bicycle men in the bicycle lane. Or are we calling them bicycle kin because it's 2021? I'm not quite sure. They're bicycle men. That's it. Bicycle stick men. Okay? That's the problem. Look, we need to have more walkable streets. Look at Europe. Look at Japan. Again, it's not fair to go ahead and say look at Europe, because Europe's roads are old. We're talking about some infrastructure that is over 2,000 years old in some places, right? If we're talking about the Roman Empire, the greatest empire on earth. But if we're talking about, some other countries, they have hundreds of year old infrastructure, right? You look at Venice, again, 700, 800, 1,000 years old, right? That's the infrastructure we're talking about. The United States, when we're talking about some of the older cities, yes, they were modeled off of European cities. But some of the newer cities, not so much. However, some newer cities, like Indianapolis, I keep bringing up Indianapolis because it's where I am right now. And from all the cities that I visited within the United States, it's actually quite a good example of a walkable city. Large sidewalks, right? Where people have enough space to go ahead and bike and walk at the same time. Okay? Streets that are not cutting into each other all the time. You have a small grid system, but you have areas where there's very wide streets. Okay? Like Virginia Avenue or Massachusetts Avenue, etc. Okay? So places like that is what needs to be in the United States. Just having larger sidewalks just helps. Yeah. That's Ricardo Noel here in the comments is correct. In Japan, the bicycle lane was together with the sidewalk, not the street. Yeah, because bicycles, in reality, we keep calling bicycles vehicles, while the rest of the world calls them pedestrians. It is a pedestrian vehicle. You're having bicycles in the United States has been kind of a mess, because you'll have people that are LARPing like they're in the Tour de France, and they're in leotards. The people who I'm talking about, okay? The people who are not using their bicycle to go from point A to point B, right? They're going there because they're trying to go ahead on their Fitbit and put in some, some points or whatnot, and they spent money on a, bicycle. Look, it's your hobby, that's fine, right? But when you have that sort of problem, that sort of mentality, the thing is that now there's a different mentality between riding a bike and, let's say, in the Netherlands, right? In some of these places that we've seen, to Utrecht, right? And in places like that in the Netherlands, to places here in the United States. Okay, that's the issue. How road repair projects morph into highway expansions. Okay. Biden is getting a fair amount of love for embracing the fix-it-first principle in the package, which favors safety improvements to critical infrastructure of 115 earmarked for roads and bridges. Okay, look, the problem with that is that when you say, you're going to allocate this much money to, and again, look, they're just saying we're going to allocate this much money to this and that, which in most bills in Congress, that's how usually things get done. They don't talk about how we're going to fix things and then how much is it going to cost. They're talking about, they're going to allocate this amount of money, and they have a ballpark estimate. That's really all they do, guys. That's what they do. They're going to say we're going to spend this much money. We will reconnect neighborhoods, right? Yeah, it has to do with getting rid of. Look at this. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. When you have roadways like this, where did the picture go? I wanted to click the picture. God dang it. But look, when you have interstates like this, you bisect neighborhoods, and it messes them up. Will transit really get its due? I hope so. So yeah, these are questions. Hey, look, if Street Blogs USA is asking these questions, and they're more on the left, if they're asking these questions, that's at least some good dialogue going back and forth. So hopefully we get something after that. All right, let's go ahead and go back on the calls. All right, we had Crowbar, and then we're gonna go to Rennell Reed, and then we're gonna go to Aegis. All right, so Crowbar, if you're on the queue, you're coming up next. All right, Crowbar is coming up next. Call time. All right.
Hello?
Crowbar, you are on.
Good, thanks. Yes,
You there?
yes,
All right. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. It just caught me a little bit off guard. Streams on a little bit of a time delay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I would try to get the next in line working, but we'll hopefully get that next string though.
All right. Thanks. Anyway, I wanted to just basically talk about the expansion map, which I'm gonna be honest, I think it's damn near perfect. Only problem is no Grand Rapids really to talk to.
Yeah, we're talking about Grand Rapids, Michigan, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, they're saying they're going to expand routes over there, which probably means that probably expand daily service. So instead of maybe 2 a day, maybe it'll be 4 a day. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I like said something about it on like Track Unlimited forum. Never go onto that forum. Never. If you can do anything, like even suggest that like maybe the long distance routes like aren't as much or as or that the regional routes are better, they will dogpile on you.
Yeah, it's some boards are like that. Like the end board on 4chan is always pretty fun to see the back and forth.
But what do you think is the most interesting band there? I personally think the Caltrain to Toronto one.
Yeah, that one's really nice because then you'll have a direct connection between Chicago and Toronto. That would be something really good. I really think the expansion that's happening in the Midwest, as well as the South, those are really the two that are really interesting to me. The thing that I don't get is this. Again, maybe it could be they're doing something with Brightline. I don't know, but this Las Vegas to Los Angeles route and the Dallas to Houston route. I think that's again more on the partnerships that they're having with the two companies with Brightline and TCR respectively. But they're probably showing that on the map to at least show people it's like hey, we're talking about these routes. But those are.
About the Las Vegas one, but I'm pretty sure, considering the College Station station on there, I think that actually is the central line. Sense of the partnership they're having.
Yeah, that could be. And I don't know, maybe they'll have Amtrak run some operations as well, and they can have separate trains on the same line. Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I don't know if how they'll get that done, but that's a possibility. Again, any of this is a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, this is never going to happen. This won't happen." I know at least 3 of these are like already in motion and are under construction. The New Orleans to Mobile one, and the Chicago to Quad City and Rockford. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah. So when people say that, I get what they're trying to say. It really means like Amtrak is not gonna have this all done by 10 years. They're not gonna have a whole national network and everything exactly on the map. They're gonna have it done. Most likely, really, what they're doing is they're throwing darts on the board and hoping some of these will stick. Some of these routes like Atlanta to Nashville. That's something that's been talked about for a while. Maybe they can get that to go. But a lot of these have been talked about for a while. But yeah, like some of these, like Cheyenne, Wyoming to Pueblo, Colorado. Some of these, a lot of these have been talked about for a while. So yeah, let's hope like it gets going.
Yeah, I think if I could choose like one route one or two routes that like would get built, I would say it would be Nashville to Atlanta and Charlotte, because those are like some of the fastest growing cities in the country. And I believe Brightline has been looking Atlanta, Charlotte for a while.
Yeah, that definitely that is one big one that really needs more frequent rail. What's funny on this map is that they're saying the rail, services that they're suspending is Mobile to Jacksonville, which I don't know if anybody has taken that in a while, but yeah, it just goes to show like hey, at least they're looking at consolidating some of their lines.
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. Nice talking to you.
Absolutely, Crowbar. Thank you. Oh, and one thing, since we have one, and now another train that just came out of printing here. I think it's fair to say that you won this new. Let me see if I can get this out of the printer over here. I guess you're the winner here for this new printed 3D printed Shinkansen over here. So I'll contact you later and see if I can get this to you. But yeah, you're the winner.
Thanks.
Yeah, it just finished right in your talk, so I said, hey, it'd be good to give it to you. So there you go. All right, so you're the winner of that one. So yeah, I'll get in contact with you, and I'll be sure to send this to you. So yeah, stick with me on there because I'm bad at sending stuff. Everybody knows that. So yeah, hopefully I can, now that Lent season is over, I can finally get started on, getting really back to work here. But thank you, Crowbar. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Oh, the Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland. That also looks interesting.
Yeah. That's definitely something that needs to be done. Hopefully, I'll bring back the Cincy Union Station, which I'm going to be visiting soon. So I'm probably finally get some footage of that, and hopefully not going on the wrong day. But again, thank you so much for coming on board, Crowbar.
Take care. Appreciate your work.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so Rennell Reed is going to be on next, but let me let the stream catch up. So if Rennell is listening, Rennell will be on next. Let me see if I have next in line open. Yeah. Oh, I do have next in line open. Okay, perfect. All right, I got that all fixed. All right, we got everything fixed here. I have full permissions to fix up with this with the streams over here. Okay, so Rennell Reed is next. So let's bring Rennell on board. Let me reset my timer over here. We're doing pretty good here. All right, Rennell, you are on. All right, Rennell Reed, you are on. Can you hear me, Rennell?
I hear you.
All right, perfect. All right, how you doing, man?
Very good.
All right. What's up with you today?
How are you?
I'm doing right. Again, since I've been fasting, I've just been hungry. I think the worst part of fasting is when cold water hits an empty stomach. That's probably the worst part of it.
I had a question regarding, and I had actually a few questions. First one regarding TCR.
Sure.
Earlier in the stream, I think you said they're supposed to start construction in that would be 2028 or no. So okay. You said 80 months.
80 months. Yeah, 80 months. Yeah. So they said that they can get everything done, between that time. So yeah, hopefully by that time, that's what they're saying. Like once they have everything done, they will be able to get everything between North Texas and Houston before the end of an 8-year-long Biden administration. Whether he's alive or whatnot, but we're saying okay, we're taking an 8-year time frame, right? So they can get everything done before the Biden administration is over. That's what they're saying. Yeah.
So I assume they're going to start later this year or next.
That's what they're hoping. And again, that's what they're saying. They're hoping they can get this done and start construction by the end of 2021. Hopefully, I can get Carlos on and we can have these sorts of discussions and get some questions from the chat and That'll be pretty cool to have. But yeah, that's what he's saying.
And you know, I listened. I've looked at some Japan rail videos, and I like the dings and tones in the stations that they have.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
And I want to know, will Texas Central have the dings and tones in the stations just like Japan?
I'm not quite sure. That's an interesting question. We'll be sure to ask him. If we ever have him on board, he'd probably be the guy to know. I'm not. So, but it would be nice. I'm assuming they probably will, since Japan is working on this. I don't know. Maybe they'll have the yellow rolls of Texas or something ding on. I don't know what they'll have, but you never know.
I think Brightline. I mean, you're more experienced with Brightline, but I thought Brightline had a few dings and tones in stations.
No, Brightline doesn't have any of those, unfortunately. Well, I don't know. Some people find them annoying. I find them, a nice thing to have. But Brightline doesn't have any of that. Really, the Brightline experience goes around more of the ride and the feeling and the environment of being there. I mean, of course, they have, clocks in the station, and the stations everybody's heard of. It smells like citrus, and everything is clean, and the bathrooms are great, and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But, that really adds to the experience. Because, there are some places in, some of the Tokyo Metro stations, it's not a dedicated station to the Shinkansen, and some of them are kind of, well, for Japan, when we're saying dingy, it means, exercise caution when eating from the ground. Most of everything in Japan is perfectly clean. I mean, you can eat from the ground. But, yeah.
When I was in New York City the last time was a while ago, but I think MT8 was starting to do with dings and tones. I mean, it's kind of starting to happen.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to have. That's really what it's about.
Okay, moving on. I think California has DB, Deutsche Bahn, for the operator.
You're talking about California? Well, I believe they... I remember reading something that they did sign on Deutsche Bahn for something. I'm not quite sure what, but yeah, I'll have to reconfirm that.
No, I think Siemens is going to be the train set.
Oh, that's what... Okay, you think... Yeah, Siemens. Most likely. I can bet that they probably are going to, be able to get that. Especially looking at their marketing material now, just seeing these Siemens Valeros on there, and knowing that Siemens already has a manufacturing base over there
in California.
Yeah, and they have a manufacturing base right there in it's a place called Pittsburgh, California, not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but it's right outside of Sacramento. So yeah, that'll probably work.
I think another question regarding Amfleets, because I live in upstate New York,
no.
And it kind of ties into the Siemens Valero, not Valeros, Venture coaches,
right?
But when they go up to like 110 miles an hour, because they can do that, and they got the approval to do it in some parts of the Empire corridor to do that. But the thing is, when they start getting up to 105, 110, it starts to get rough. And I think you mentioned that with the Amfleets. They start to get rough when they start going fast like that.
Yeah, and I think that's, in this Amtrak plan, that's probably what they're going to be doing for a lot of these expanded routes. They're really just going to start putting in Amfleets along with the Siemens Chargers and upgrade all their fleets. And we'll probably see say goodbye to the GEs within this decade at some point.
The thing is, the Amfleets get rough when you start going to 110, 115 miles. And I'm guessing the Siemens Venture coaches won't do that or vibrate as much.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
What?
And I think we talked about this last time, but yeah, once you have better
Equipment.
better equipment, of course. Yeah, once you have that on there, of course, it's going to do better with there. And a lot of that has to come down to the infrastructure they have on there as well, because the infrastructure in the Northeast Corridor is just awful.
And those M fleets are like 40 years old, and I think that's what happens when you let government take over passenger rail. It just
I mean,
investment.
Oh, I mean, it can go both ways. I mean, private companies, there are some that will just go ahead and just use things until they're dead, so they don't have to go ahead and spend the costs in order to update the infrastructure. Yeah. But most likely, a private company is going to be more pushed to go ahead and upgrade infrastructure like we've seen Brightline done than, let's say, the federal government, which, again, they're spread out. Mostly that's going to be coming down to a state issue. And even when the states have to go ahead and cities have to go ahead and improve their roads, they do a terrible job at it everywhere.
With Brightline, those trains, the Brightline trains don't shake and rattle when they get up to 80 miles an hour.
No, they don't. Yeah. That's basically what it is for now.
You said smooth. It's very smooth.
Oh right? Yeah. All right, Ronell. I'm gonna. We're running out of time over here. So, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, it's good talking to you.
Absolutely. Take care, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're gonna take a break from their calls, and we're gonna go into these last articles, and then we're gonna end it over here in a bit. But yeah. So speaking of states. And I know I of course I keep bringing up Indiana because when I have these Google news feeds, a lot of the stuff that comes up on my news feeds is either from Florida or from Indiana, right? So looking at all of this is pretty interesting. But the weird thing about Indiana is that we do have a lot of wind and solar energy in a lot of places. Again, this is a pretty red state. But the thing is that there's a lot of pushback from a lot of these local municipalities that don't want to have these wind turbines because they are kind of an eyesore. All right, that is fair to say. Oh, where's the picture of it? But yeah, and in terms of also, here's the other thing. In terms of efficient energy, wind turbines are not as efficient as they put out to be. Right? That's really what it is. But if they're gonna bring and make it fair for the market, because there are some farmers, if they're not making enough money, they'll go ahead and have these wind turbines on their area in their land, and they can get a profit for it. And again, this sort of thing is really where you're gonna have a lot of split between the parties, because you're gonna have some rural areas that are for it. A lot of the poor rural areas and some of the rural areas that are doing better than others are going to say, no, we don't want this. It's an eyesore and doesn't make us money. So, this is the sort of things that, at least they're coming in and there's a debate going on about it. Or at least we're talking about it. So here, look, lawmakers say getting counties on board with this bill and letting renewable companies know Indiana is open for business is critical to keeping Indiana competitive as coal plants retire and federal pressure for renewables increase, according to proponents. Without that, Indiana, its counties, and individual landowners are losing out on serious investments that renewable companies are taking to other states. And that's what it comes down to. It's, how much can states be able to profit off of this and be able to make a living? That's really what it comes down to. Let me see in the comments over here. I haven't checked the comments in a bit. Amtrak is debuting the new Amfleet 2 cars right now. Yeah. I gotta see if maybe I can be able to catch that. Maybe if they bring some to Beech Grove. I know I've been talking about Beech Grove for a bit. I just gotta get back in contact with the contact I have in there. Speaking of Uber, this is funny. If you guys want to talk about equity, transit equity, if the new word they want to come up with now. Uber has been ordered to pay $1.1 million after an arbitrator ruled that the rideshare company's drivers discriminated against a blind woman and her guide dog on more than a dozen separate occasions. Lisa Irving, a California resident, says she was denied rides or verbally abused by drivers 14 times in 2016 and 2018. Yeah, that's pretty sad to hear. Look, at least Uber is paying this person. The poor woman and her dog, for going through all this. Probably should pay more. I mean, for how much money Uber has and how little they pay their drivers, they probably should pay more. I thought that was at least interesting to see. Yeah. All right, one last interesting article, and then we'll, I think we have some memes here. Oh, yeah, this was an old picture that I found while I was getting some of the images off of here and just switching them over to Google Drive, the ones that I took over from the RPA webinar, and I found this on Google Drive. That was a while back. I remember that. That was at FIU. We had like a little Japan Day thing over there, and I was talking about the Shinkansen. And again, look. Important things. Look, high-speed rail in America, economic and political implications and lessons from Japanese applications. I've been talking about this forever, guys. I've been talking about this. We need to look at what other countries are doing and bring this over here. All right? Yeah, this is my my research project for in the Honors College. Because also an international business, and I was like the only student there that was in between the Honors College and the International Business Honors area there. So yeah, this was pretty good. Fun times. Nobody was koofing about, and we were playing with trains, and it was a good day. Good times. Let's go into this. Since we're talking about a little bit about planes, the U.S. military is working on a supersonic Air Force One. I don't know. Maybe then we'll finally get supersonic travel in the United States once the president is able to go. Maybe the peons, well, not the peons, but maybe the rich will now be able to go ahead and have supersonic planes across the United States. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a time when anybody can be able to afford a ticket on a supersonic plane once they start phasing out the older ones. I don't know, because hey, we had prop propeller planes, and those were expensive before, and then we evolved into the jet airliner, the age of the jet airliner, and once that became as common as it did, then it became cheaper. I don't know. We need to bring people to Japan to make them understand, Ricardo Noel says. Yeah, well, they have done that. Japan has done that with a whole bunch of lawmakers. The problem is the lawmakers don't really want to go ahead and push it. I mean, they go ahead, they enjoy the free ride. I guess they enjoy, the cuisine and the sushi for a bit, and then they come back home and do much of anything. I don't know. Yeah, it really has to come down to this generation. We gotta push this forward. All right. We're doing good so far with how many people we have on board here so far. But let's look at this a little bit. Last year, California startup Exosonic revealed that it's working with the U.S. Air Force on a supersonic Air Force One jet that can be used to ferry the U.S. executive branch around the globe at twice the speed of sound. That'll probably be something we'll be looking at in the 2030s. That's something like that is not going to happen in this decade. Probably not. Maybe if it was Trump, maybe he just get it and get it for himself. I don't know. Not even Trump now is on his. Remember that old Trump jet that he used to have during the campaign, back in the 2016 era. He's not using that anymore. He's using like a smaller private jet now. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of sad to see. How the mighty have fallen there, but I don't know. With this concept, we are planning to implement new technologies that are not available today, or that you don't yet see on commercial or business aircraft, Exosonic principal interior designer Stephanie Kahan told CNN during a virtual walkthrough. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But of course, as you can see, it's a smaller jet. It's not as big as Air Force One. Air Force One is huge. I don't know if you guys have seen Air Force One up close and personal. I have seen Air Force One up close. Yeah, it's massive. It is a massive plane. It's like a 787 or something like that. But it's big, or maybe a 777. I'm not quite sure. Trump's 757 is broken, sitting on a tarmac, missing one engine. Yeah, poor Trump plane. That is kind of sad to see, though. It was always cool seeing his plane fly in and out of rallies. Maybe it was built before that part of the park was part of the park. Okay, I'm not into that conversation. I don't know what's going on in the comments there, but hopefully good things. Yeah, yeah, I didn't even read this to the very end, but even I said Exosonic expects to roll out a finished version by the mid-2030s, as titled CNN. Okay, so if they're saying the mid-2030s, it's never going to happen. It made a nice article, though, and we'll look at this article back, 5 years from now and say, yeah, remember that, guys? Yeah. All right. And again, talking about the molten boil thing. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this. Let's take a poll from the comments over here. Let me see if I actually have this. Do I have this picture up? Let me see if I can bring this picture up. Okay. We're going to do a poll here, guys. All right. So which of these 4 gentlemen would you like me to bring on first or prioritize first? Of course, I'm gonna see if I can send invitations to all of them. They're all welcome here on the show. But I'm going to send invitations. But if there's one you want me to prioritize, like one you absolutely must want to hear to, all right? We're going to do this, all right? Let me see if I can I edit this? I want to paint and put actually, hold on, I got an idea. Go ahead and take a screenshot. And then take the screenshot. And then draw on the screenshot. There we go. It works. Okay, so there, option 1, Seth Moulton. Option 2, Jim Matthews of the RPA. Option 3, Boris Lipkin, California High Speed Rail. Option 4, Carlos Aguilar of Texas Central Railway. All right. So put in the comments below. I want to take a quick poll right now. Which of these gentlemen, would you like to have on the show here for an interview first? So type 1 for Seth Moulton, type 2 for... Let's get that going. I gotta write down a note so I can get Crowbar. Is Shinkansen. Where's my pen? This is funny. Ned J. Invite the rep from Boston and ask him why the switches are 100 years old. I think he'd be pretty, agree in agreement with you probably that, yeah, they shouldn't be 100 years old. Assuming that's what we're talking about. Dimitri versus Jim Matthews, the battle of the century week. It's not going to be a versus, guys. I'm not debating with these guys. I just want them to come on and be on the show and, we can share ideas. That's what it is. All right. I see a lot of 3s and a lot of 4s. Okay? There's definitely a lot of interest here for California and for Texas. I think that's where we're on down to now. There's some 2s. All right. I guess people aren't that interested in Seth Moulton. All right. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 3s. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 4s. 8 4s. There's a 1. There's 1 1. All right. There's some 2s. All right, 2 is Jim Matthews from the Rail Passenger Alliance. He's the president of the Passenger Rail Alliance, Rail Passenger Alliance in America. Oops, spilled some. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I think we can end it there. I think 4 wins there. But yeah. All right. I'll try to go ahead and prioritize Carlos Aguilar. I already have a relationship with Texas. We interviewed Robert Eccles here on the show some years back. So I don't think it should be a problem to go ahead and interview him now, especially now since everybody's doing Zoom interviews. I was setting up an interview with them last year to go ahead and go over there to Texas and do a little bit of a tour of their office and their material and have like an on-site interview. That didn't fall through. Again, everything is my fault. So that's what we're doing. But yeah. Yeah, guys, most of these guys are boomers. Well, Carlos is. I think the rest are either Gen X, I believe. Yeah, sorry, guys. There's no millennial CEOs here that are doing anything. We're all poor. I think we put that down last stream. While the boomer generation, while they were in the 30s, had about 30% of the wealth. Millennials now at the same age only have 4. And for the poor Generation Z that's on here, it's even worse for you guys. Although, I'm like 5 years removed from Generation Z, so yeah, it's worse for all of us. At this point, we're kind of like a big mega group. And we're just complaining that everything sucks in life. All right, so we're going to see if we can get Carlos Aguilar here on the show. All right, so he's the winner here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can bring him on. I'll go ahead and get those emails out on Monday while everybody's back at work. I can, send emails tomorrow, but nobody's going to be at the office to get them. You want to get them while they're, bright and early, when they're getting their coffee, and you want that email to flash up at them at 9:30 in the morning. All right. Oh, okay. I think this is a funny one. So, I know I've talked about India a couple times, and I've talked about, this is the last meme for tonight. This is one way you can go ahead and get people to go ahead and talk about fixing your roads. So look at this. You think he's walking on Mars. What's that flashing? Guys, if you think our roads are bad in the United States, yeah. That's a good way to bring attention, though. Although, copycatting it and doing it over here in the United States wouldn't go the same way. I don't know, maybe he's not trying to step on some of the poo that's on the ground. I don't know. We know that's a problem over there. We wish the best of luck over there for our friends in India. All right. Yeah, the mix between Gen Z and boomers. Yeah, long live being born in 96 for Ruben, yeah. I'm 93. All right. Let's go ahead and do the last of our calls, and then we're going to call it a night. So here's our calls. We're doing pretty good. Let me wait. Where's my little Thomas phone? There we are. The cross-eyed, creepy Thomas phone. All right. So we're going back to the Discord streams over here. So we have Aegis. All right. We have our friend Eric Gustafson is on. All right. Let's bring him onto the live stream over here. All right. Here we go. Aegis, you are on. Okay, maybe we should have a jingle for when we're doing the live streams again. For those of you guys who are asking, there were some people who were asking in the comments, what are the jingles we're talking about Tokyo? Here they are. That's some of them.
Hello there. I'm calling I'm calling from lovely Breckenridge.
Hey there. How's it going, man? Breckenridge. I'm not familiar with that at all.
So
how's it going, man?
It's going fine.
Awesome.
I had you were playing on the background, so.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I was playing the Tokyo train jingles because some people were asking about, what did some of these sound like. But I'm probably going to do this like next time when we get the live streams going on for the call-ins.
So right now, things on the website are progressing at a snail's pace.
Okay.
So today I decided that because right now I'm on vacation in Breckenridge for spring break. Don't worry, I'm gonna make sure I don't get COVID on this.
Yeah, don't get the coof, man. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar, Eric over here is working on a website. It's called, I believe, Stop the Sprawl, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Stop the Sprawl. Correct. Yeah, over in Norfolk, Virginia.
I'm actually in Northtown.
In Northtown.
Actually around Northtown, but generally all of all of Sova.
Yeah.
Southeast Virginia.
Yeah. So he's advocating in his area in order to go ahead and bring transit over there. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, that's who we're talking to right now.
Yeah, and I just got left out of Denver, just came back we just flew out of there, and like the difference in transit is like stark. It's like literally like the problem with the problem with Hampton Roads is that it's just a bunch of boroughs. Like it's think of it's like New York, but every little borough is bickering and fighting between each other.
Yeah, and there's a lot of places like that, like over in the upper south and the northeast.
Yeah, but back to my point, to what I was originally saying. That was just a reminder for you those who didn't come on the last live stream. So, but anyway, so we are looking for a logo for the website. Personally, I am. So, if I can, is there a way if I could share my screen to see that if we can probably decide on a logo?
Probably not now, man. Probably the best place for you to go ahead and do that would probably be in the Discord server. Just asking, maybe somebody's there. There's a lot of people there that are more artistically inclined, and they can probably do it.
So anyway, how do I do that? Again, I am not the techie guy who got into Discord like immediately when it became popular.
Yeah, no worries. Just go into the general lobby in Transport Central and just scroll down over there. And I mean, of course, once you introduce yourself, just go ahead and say what you're looking for and whatnot.
I already did it for a second.
Yeah.
I already did. So but I'm just getting a little idea for those of you if I don't get any support. Do you want me to rip off the CARE logo? Do you want me to rip off the the Citizens Against Rail expansion logo?
So the one with the angry train, is that what we're talking about? I don't know. It's up to you, man. I don't know if the angry boomer train is the way to go, but yeah. There could, I think a more inviting, welcoming logo or something like that. I don't know.
So I'm gonna put in the chat for we need some volunteers. So we need some volunteers.
Yeah, and just go ahead and just talk to people on the chat there, yeah. But anyway, do you have anything like on the stream, or you want to talk about like some of the articles that we talked about, or?
Generally, yes. I wasn't here, so generally, I would like to say the main problem I have for tonight is that Philadelphia and so I just came back going over from the DIA, RTD operates the Silverliner series. Both RTD and Philly, the problem with if we want to adopt a European system, in my opinion, I'm the kind of person who's unpopular with this, but I think we should just ditch ditch to having individual train design that are tailored to the customer and just go for a one-size-fits-all option, for simplicity,
All right, so are you talking about for Amtrak, just to go ahead and...
No, transit... I'm not saying like that. I'm saying for transit companies like RTD...
Okay.
They can simplify their design. They could stick with an all-Statler company. They can do all Siemens, all one company. So the company provides them everything that they need. They want all their desires. There's no need to just... Because that's what CRRC does. CRRC, over in China, they just provide everything for them. So, especially with countries like Boston, is getting new CRRC trains.
Yeah, and I heard about that. Yeah, and they're even China is going ahead and saying, well, we have to comply with Buy America, so we'll go ahead and build a factory over there in Massachusetts or at least somewhere around the Northeast, and to go ahead and make the trains there. But that's something that other countries have, and I know Japan has been trying to do that for the last 25 years or so, and that's what they're doing over in Texas.
That's the thing of the issue with Japan is that even though they have a good railway culture, if you look at it in terms of a standardization process, there's really no concrete standardization of this is what unit, this is the EMU for all regions, this is the EMF, this is your little diesel multiple unit for all regions, this is This is your like in Germany, all of that is just like all the S-Bahn groups, they will make their purchase for one, like if they purchase one thing, they'll purchase it for all. But with JR, it's all, they prefer just buying individually,
Right.
which creates a chaotic mess in terms of, like, say one locomotive breaks down and you have to get a part, and you can't just, and it has a certain part that you can't get on the other locomotives, so you have to wait for like months and months and months until that part gets shipped and fixed.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, and again, that there are pros and cons to having a sort of thing that China has, and having that CRCC, and having that consortium. Like, they already have all the companies, they already know what they're going to do. Of course, it's government controlled, but it gives them that upper edge in saying, like, you have these several packages that you're going to do. Of course, it puts a whole lot of countries in debt or whatnot, and China's doing it for their own political purposes. But in terms of having that, a lot of countries, and I know Alstom and I believe was it Siemens? Yeah, Alstom and Siemens was looking into consolidating a lot of their assets and their companies together in order to combat CRCC. So there could, what you're saying there, there's probably that sort of solution is going to be more common in the future, especially when China's railway exportation is rising. Yes, exactly.
So the main issue is that the days of the silver liners are going to be no more. It's all going to be Statler. It's going to be Flirts. If Alstom acquires the remainder stock of like some of the successful Bombardier locomotives like Talays, it's going to be not Novias, but Sedalis's, and no, that's not a good. That's light rail, and we're already seeing it in the light rail space. Like many new North American light rail lines are gravitating towards the Siemens F70.
Yeah, Siemens is definitely going to be one of the companies that they already have a big market share already. What's going on in the new generation of train sets, so they're definitely going to be the bigger player out of here. And then maybe once Texas starts moving, maybe the Japanese companies will start to edge in a bit. But Siemens is already ahead of the game of every other company, and maybe Alstom would probably be the other one because of the new Avelias. But definitely Siemens by far is way ahead.
Siemens is going to be the dominant for the decade.
Oh yeah,
they're going to be the dominant power for the decade.
Yeah, they already are.
And I don't blame Brightline for acquiring new locomotives, but the issue is that technically they do have some earthquake experience of like Turkey, though. In my opinion, what they should have gone with was like something like like Talgo, like they have their locomotives are more designed for like more desert compliant areas. Like Spain it's not like a lush area. There's like a bit like near like semi-arid parts of, like, if you're going between Malaga and Cordoba, you're gonna be going through like some semi-arid desert over the Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
So, and Spain does have a bit of earthquakes. So what they should have gone with, and if they want to get the train to LA without having to build their own corridor, they can just buy a bi-mode version of the. They actually have a bi-mode version in their catalog for the Ave network.
Right. Yeah, and that's the type of things that can definitely work. Honestly, the only reason why Brightline went with Siemens is because they already had the contract with them. They already have a working relationship with them. Siemens already has all the equipment, so it would make sense for them to keep that relationship going between Las Vegas and Los Angeles and Brightline West. Yeah, it does make sense that Spain has a lot more. And the thing is that in Texas. One thing I did forget to mention, and it's a good thing you brought that up, was Carlos Aguilar did bring up that Spain has the second second highest amount of HSR construction in a country, and that's why they're going to be the service provider in Spain. Well, the second the top second country with on-time performance. And they're all second in the world when it comes to train trackage. But they're second also in the world when it comes to on-time performance. Of course, JRC being top one by a long shot. But that's the reason why they're working with them when it comes to operations.
Speaking of like JR, the thing that I think America does best is in terms of like labor practices is that we don't sort of penalize for. We do sort of, but we don't as much penalize like for late trains if you can provide like something like, say, if it's out of your control. Like Japan has a very bad work. It has a toxic work ethic, where even though it might be good for the customer, it might not be good for the crews.
It's both true and false. The thing is that when we're talking about the work ethic for like a place like Japan, that really comes down more to how their culture is and the way the customer relationship that they have there in that country really comes down to more of their cultural basis. In the United States, it's a little different. Like when somebody has a late train, we're like, no big deal. The problem is in the United States that when it becomes no big deal, the line between what's no big deal and what's okay, this is really too late, starts to get more blurry, and that line gets pushed on. Japan, again, that work culture is different when it comes to everything. But you cannot copy and paste something that Japan has and paste it over here in the United States and expect it to work the same. That's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work. It's like I've said, it's all about cultural differences. But
right.
Sometimes it's going to get a bit. If you notice, like the thing I'm surprised about is that if Japan does not, JR hasn't surprisingly have had much of a union base as they did like in comparison like to the early 20th century for like there were very similar practices to that in let's say like the dawn in like the early 20th like the turn of the 18th to the 19th from the 19th to the 20th centuries.
Yeah, that's very different because in Japan there is no union culture because the reason is that the companies are very good when it comes to having job security. Job security over there in that country is by far and most the top priority when it comes to getting a job. It's not payment or benefits or anything like that. It's job security. It's like, okay, I can be getting paid, garbage at this company, but can I at least stay with this company till my dying day? Yes, all right, then I'm going with that company. That's really how it goes in Japan. And in the United States, and again, like I worked for a Japanese company here in the United States when I worked for Toyota Material Handling. The thing is, they brought that same culture over here that we don't need the unions, not knowing that in the United States that if you don't have unions, a lot of our bosses here in the United States will take advantage of that and start either not paying workers well or saying, okay, we're going to offset workers and, hire them through a third party and not hire them through our company and not give them the same benefits. Yeah. So, that's really the problem. Yeah. And then, some of the Japanese executives were like, that's not what we expected you to do. But they're like, oh, too bad. that's the problem.
That's because we imported essentially British industrial culture.
Yeah. And
we imported early 19th century British culture. Is that it can all be tied down to history. It's all about who we imported from and who we imported to, who we exported from.
Yeah.
To whatever country.
Yeah. Again, you're right. It has to do a lot with that. The Puritan work ethic that we brought over here to the United States.
And it's good and bad side.
Yeah. Again, there's always pros and cons. All right. Yeah. But when people go ahead and try to say it's all bad, that's where you're making the mistake. There is good and bad in it. The good is that at least. Or at least let's say when the United States was the top when it came to work ethic, at least it gave people a purpose and it gave them a chance and it gave them a very solid salary in order to go ahead and have a life. Now at this point, at this advantage, it's been way too far disbalanced and it's hurting the worker a heck of a lot more and it's helping a lot more the ones on top. I mean, anybody can say this. You don't have to be left or right to go ahead and say that, the richer have been getting richer. And we have evidence of that. They've just been getting a heck of a lot more powerful. I mean, hey,
It's a lot similar to what's been going on in Russia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. You have that sort of oligarchy there, but that's, again, their culture is different as well. The Slavic culture, and you have the Soviet culture that's still pushed on, and that's why Putin will be leader of Russia until he dies, basically.
Yeah. So one of the last things I think we should probably discuss is that if you notice, like if my home state, Northam has been Northam is kind of like the person, like he's doing very well with recent projects. Like recently he approved a massive massive capacity upgrade to the RF and to between the main line between Washington D.C. and Richmond.
Okay, that's good.
So.
Yeah, and I'm seeing here, on the map, that at least there's some extended lines coming over here. But go ahead.
Yeah. So the issue is that he's not electrifying most of the divisions. Is that the biggest thing that what they should do if Amtrak needs is that I think what they need to adopt for Northeast Regional is replace all the Amfleet stock with bimode multiple units.
Yeah. Again, that's a possibility, and that's something that they could do. I mean, the problem is when it comes to a lot of what these politicians are planning, they're not going to get into the technical nitty-gritty of it. They're just going to go and say, okay, we're going to allocate this amount of money, and it's going to go to this. And it's going to have this goal. So they're just basically giving two halves of the bun, but they're not giving the meat of the bun, which is, that's how politics works in this country. They're not going to go ahead and say,
Yeah. What I think they should do is that, again, this is like a Virginia high-speed rail that they haven't been pushing, is that I think you could see a good private company like Brightline, or maybe even Texas Central, or in my opinion, SNCF. If SNCF, like America, wants to prove its existence, they have the French bailed us out of the revolution. They can live in Yorktown, so why not just pay us back by building our transit system?
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on board, Eric, and best of luck to the website. Hope that gets up soon, and enjoy the rest of your spring break, man. It's been hard times for everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on it time and time again. But when is the next live stream? Is that gonna be Friday?
Yeah, we're probably gonna go back to the Fridays. The only reason it was Saturday was because of Good Friday. We're gonna go back to the Friday live streams.
The only issue is that I'm gonna check to see if when I'm gonna be here, like that on Friday or Saturday, is that I'm gonna be heading back to Norfolk to the Hampton Roads area.
All right, no worries, man. Yeah, we'll be having more live streams, and for those of you who are in the chat, we'll be having more live streams. And I see there are some people that are having some issues getting onto Discord and trying to get onto the queue. I'm gonna try to put out like some sort of instructions or like a 1-minute video to say how to get into there, and it'll probably run a little bit throughout the beginning of the live stream, so we'll have that on there. All right, but thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on board, man.
Yeah, you too. So I put the link in there. See if it works. If not, just
all right.
You can just email me at the.
Yeah, just be careful what links you put on there. Like hopefully if it's not like it's not logging into your account or anything like that. But
in that case, unless I have one of my stupid prize then.
I don't know. Well, I mean I don't know. I don't use Wix, so that's just my thing. I either just
I'm using Wix because I don't have that much experience in designing a website.
That's all right, man.
But I've actually found my my original logo. It's just like a copy paste of like a generic sprawl. Put like a little circle with a dash line on it.
Yeah.
And just it in like MS Paint.
That's Again,
That's not.
You're gonna have to.
How simple.
You're gonna have to work on that on the Discord, but thank you for coming on board, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
Take care.
Glad to be here. You all have a good spring break. Don't do anything in the news unless it's good to you.
Exactly.
Good. I want to hear it.
All right. Take care, man.
All right. Ciao.
All righty. Okay, so that's it for the live calls for today. We're gonna we'll take some comments over from anybody here in the comments, and then we'll call it a night. Right now it's 10:44, so let's end this at 10:55. At least this was a shorter stream this time for some of you who were complaining that the stream was a little too long last time. But it was the first time we had a live and call, and that was pretty good. And right now we still have 62 viewers on, so that's actually more than last time. So we're doing pretty good. My spring ended last week. Sorry to hear, Ryan Rail. Yeah, well, I remember the days of spring break anyway. But then again, when you're in Florida, it's always spring and summer anyway. And tourist season just never ends. That's what it is. Well, spring is starting to come up over here in Indiana and most of the Midwest. Some nice, cool, last bits of cool weather before we all melt to death. I much rather the cold, to be honest. I can't stand the heat. Let's see. Any more questions over here? Why isn't there a bypass around Chicago? I'm not quite sure what you're trying to reference there to what bypass. Axchar Vicari, is there a specific route Brightline wants to use to the Port of Miami? Yeah. The FEC already has a railroad that goes down there. Let's see if I can go ahead and open that up. Google Maps. Let's go ahead. But yeah, they'll go ahead and use that to go ahead and go to the port. There we go. But hopefully I didn't lose the live stream. There we go. There we go. All right. So where are they going? They are going. Oh, Steve's Pizza. I remember Steve's Pizza. If you guys are ever in Miami, there's a place called Steve's Pizza up on US 1. It's really good. Trust me. All right. So if you guys can see this little line over here, that's the FEC that goes to the port. It goes right across over here on Port Boulevard and on Biscayne. All right. Let's go ahead and put on the satellite view, the Chad satellite view. The Freedom Tower. So when my dad came in the first time around before they went to New York, when they had to get out of Cuba. They left everything, by the way, not like, the immigrants are, coming over here and, But anyway, everybody will say that, every immigrant would say that, everywhere back to the Germans and the Irish and the Cubans and whatnot and the Italians. We came here with nothing. Although technically, I think the Cubans were like one of the last ones to come here with nothing. They only got a bottle of milk, $100 a Coke. They went to New York and they said, good luck. And that was it. So here's the railroad that goes over on the port. So it's already there. So it would go right into the port and right over here. But the thing is that it's usually here in the Port of Miami because there is so much freight that goes in through Miami. And that's really the main reason why it's there. But they'll go ahead and probably use it, put another junction over here and send it off over. So here's where the cruises actually come off of. This my dad worked for Royal Caribbean. we got I don't know how many cruises, man. I will dozens of cruises I have been on. I've been blessed to be on that many cruises. But yeah, that's what they're probably going to be using. Will the auto train be extended? Probably not. There's no news on the auto train. Although people have been asking for another auto train in other places. That would be nice. What about express trains going from New York to like Colorado? That's probably not going to be. Again, no, you're talking too far apart. Okay, we haven't even gotten Miami to Orlando with Brightline, and some other companies haven't even gotten theirs up yet. Before we even start trying to connect the entire country, let's start other places first before we go there. That's really what we need to do. Caltrain's new equipment is in testing. Okay, cool. Nerds. Yeah, we are. Oh wow, Brightline will have the perfect view of the new Skyrise Miami Tower. Yeah, they always keep saying they're going to go ahead and build new towers over there. They'll say, yeah, we're building the largest tower in Miami is going to be built over here. Yeah, the guys never build it. It's one way to go ahead and collect a whole bunch of money and flip over real estate. But that's the story of Miami, folks. All right. Last minute for questions, and then we're going to call it a night. But so far, yeah, this has been pretty cool, guys. I've been enjoying these live stream calls. Do auto train to Phoenix to Winterport. I don't know Winterport is. I was just curious with the Amtrak maps as to why everyone stopped in Chicago is going east and west. Okay, let's look at that. There we are. Oh, that's the reason why it's going east and west. I mean, the only north is going to Milwaukee, and that's actually a very one of the top routes that Amtrak runs. Chicago to Rockford, Chicago to Moline, Iowa City. Yeah, seems like Iowa will be on the map there once they get Amtrak over there. Of course, we have the Hoosier from Indianapolis to Chicago. Looks like they're trying to go ahead and go there all the way down to Louisville, too. So that'll be cool. All right, Akbar Ali with the Super Chat. Thank you, man. With so many terminals at the Miami port, which one will get the train station? Also, does Coco get a stop? Would be good for Disney cruisers. All right, let's talk about that then. So, when it comes to the port, they haven't quite said which one's going to get it. However, what we have seen is that the cruise terminals are over here. They are building a new terminal over here, Terminal H. So most likely what may happen is that there probably will be a junction over here somewhere where the trains will turn around and come over here, or maybe it'll just dock over here and they'll have the station over here and they'll just ferry people over to the terminals, or maybe over here. I'm not quite sure where the Virgin Terminal is going to go, because the problem is that whole deal between Brightline from Miami Central to the port was really only done. I mean, people have talked about it, but it was really only done because of Virgin Voyages. Now that whole deal is done, probably the whole Virgin Voyages thing is not going to happen, especially since the Virgin company is not doing too well. They may not last too long, guys. I think Virgin, in reality, the company has no money. All right, let's be honest. The company is insolvent. It has no money. But to really get that done now, it's not a priority for Brightline. Brightline wants to focus on getting the Aventura and Boca Raton stations done. Okay? So again, we're talking about downtown Miami. Here's the Miami Central station over here. To go up on Biscayne, and it's Miami Shores, 151st, Biscayne, and there's Aventura Mall. All right? So the new station is going to be over here, somewhere over here. Okay? And then from here, there'll be a bridge across over on Biscayne. And just look, if the thing about Aventura Mall, of course, because I live a mile away from it. So, but the thing is that if every other mall were to close in America, Aventura would be the last one standing. Because again, the location of where it is and the stores that they have, they're just they have everything there. Not everything, but I mean that's the place where everybody goes to hang out, and all the tourists go to. They're building a new hotel, an area over here in another wing of the mall. They just keep expanding and expanding and expanding. They'll probably swallow up all of Aventura if they keep going. There's a bus terminal over here, which goes up to Broward and connects to Broward and down to Dade. But to be able to have that connection, to have the bridge across, and it'll connect to the hotel, it will connect to the mall and everything over there, that's going to be a big deal. So that's why they're focusing on Aventura first. Okay? Then from Aventura, there's the Fort Lauderdale International Airport, and there we are, Fort Lauderdale. All right? And we have the other station. Where is it? Uh-oh. I lost my way over here. There you are. Oh dear. I lost my way. Oh, there's the McDonald's. There's the station. There we are. There's the McDonald's and there's the station. I have to remember from the McDonald's. This is what happens when you live in a place. You just remember places from like, oh yeah, the McDonald's or the Burger King down there, or the Checkers. It's called Checkers there, but it's called Rowley's up here. I don't know why. But yeah, here there's the Brightline Fort Lauderdale station. And then they'll do Boca Raton over here in the middle. Boca Raton is the second to go. So there's FAU. So it's going to be somewhere around over here to connect over to FAU, Boca Raton. And then over to West Palm Beach. And where they have the station over in West Palm Beach is actually quite nice. It's a nice place. There we are. There's the West Palm Beach one, temporary close. But yeah, you can just go ahead and, you can just walk down on Datura. You can walk on Clematis. There's Flagler Park. And there's the Flagler Museum over here. Went there with Holly and my family. Went to go ahead and see the Flagler Museum. Really nice. Yeah, that's what we're going. That's what it is. Yeah, it would be good for Disney Cruise. Hey, maybe that's a good idea. But the one in Cocoa. So let's go up to Cocoa. This is why driving in Florida is kind of boring. It's just flat and it's straight. And then like every 5 minutes it will rain and pour down. So here's where the Cocoa area is happening. So there's you see the FEC yard. You can even see here already on Google Maps all the work that's being done over here. But yeah, this is where they're doing it. Of course, it's way forward over here. So probably the station is going to be somewhere around over here to get it there. Again, there's not too much at Cocoa because a lot of the stuff is going to be happening over at Port Canaveral and Cape Canaveral over here. That's where a lot more of everything is over there. But they'll probably be have like a bus or something that takes you over there or a shuttle. Yeah, and then from there over to Orlando and to the international airport. So there you go. That's Brightline. That's where we're going, and we're moving. Perhaps the people mover around the port, stopping at each ship dock of Miami to connect to a Brightline station. Again, personally, I still don't think the whole Brightline stations of the port is really necessary. Honestly, I don't think look, it's right there, and there's the port, right? We're talking about a quarter mile. I mean, they already have the people mover going. It would probably make more sense if they could just get the people mover and just extend it from here to there. I get it. They want people to come from the Orlando airport and just take Brightline all the way down. That makes sense. Or I get what experience they're trying to go ahead and create. But in terms of efficiency, I don't think so. But that's just me. All right, it's 10:57, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and end it here, but thank you so much for coming on board. It's been a great and fantastic stream. Again, we will be on board again at our regular times on this Friday at 8 p.m., barring anything else to happen, but we shall be on board. So thank you all for riding. We will see you on board next time.